Bryan is going to begin this episode and he's going to talk about pancakes.
Why pancakes, Bryan?
Because I'm hungry for breakfast.
Okay, I'll start the episode. Okay, so I've kind of fallen down an internet hole.
As we all do.
Oh no.
Yeah. Have you guys ever spent much time looking at, like, Simpsons Instagram?
Zero. Like, no.
What
never.
about you, Bryan?
Maybe like for an evening in 2016.
Right. So, when I say, like, Simpsons Instagram, I think maybe the account that a lot of people think of is Scenic Simpsons, which is this really fucking awesome account, which is just, like, scenic shots of, like, different areas around Springfield. It's, like, you know, found objects from Springfield, like maybe like a fire hydrant or like a sunset or all this kind of stuff. And it's a really cool account. People should check it out. And I like it because it's like, it's basically the first shot of some scenes before the characters walk into frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool how interesting a lot of the art directions, especially for old Simpsons, was, because they'll just do like a pink sky, all the houses will be like purple and yellow, and like it looks class. But that's not where The Simpsons on Instagram ends.
Okay, what have we? Get into it. Have we collectors who collect, like, Simpsons memorabilia?
Oh, no, Niamh, I'm just talking about accounts that screenshot The Simpsons and make entire accounts out of a specific ideal. I'm going to list some of them that are, like, kind of, I guess, from best to worst. So at the top you have, like, Scenic Simpsons. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Okay.
Then you have Existential Simpsons.
Here we go.
Big fan of Existential Simpsons.
Yeah.
Some great shit there. Then you have Surreal Simpsons.
So this is screenshots of every moment when The Simpsons was surreal.
Yeah.
So like Homer when he's on his vision quest.
100%.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Then you have Psychedelic Simpsons.
The Vision Quest again.
Yeah.
Or
it's kind of it's more of a hippie-ish vibe than Surreal
okay.
Simpsons. Surreal Simpsons can be very kind of nightmarish.
It could be.
Psychedelic Simpsons is very like drug orientated.
Okay, so like there could be one account could be like when Lisa drinks the water at Duff Gardens, and is it Patty or Selma's like rest her head on my like shoulder?
So that's a psychedelic. That would be Psychedelic
and
Simpsons.
it's like
it could make it into Surreal Simpsons on a slow day, but Surreal Simpsons is more going to be kind of like Homer standing there with the galaxy dog, the coyote, space coyote next to him.
Okay.
But then we keep going, and we start to get into Violent Simpsons.
So every time Homer strangles Bart.
Yeah. Crime Simpsons.
So Mo Sislak and his daily life.
Sad Simpsons.
Barney.
Yeah, and just like Lisa poignant episodes.
Sad Simpsons memes, which is now that's a bit of an in-between because they'll add text and stuff, which is, you know, all you're really meant to do is just the screenshot and then like the subtitle if necessary. But then things start to get fucking weird. We start to get into open mouth Simpsons.
Every time someone's mouth is open?
Sometimes the way the Simpsons
'cause
characters
it's a weird
work,
drawing.
it's really the way a lot of their jaws work is,
Oh, because their head flips.
yeah,
Like a pest
so
dispenser.
an account full of that. Squinty-eyed Simpsons.
So every time they go, "Ooh."
Yep.
Oh yeah, but they look like that goldfish with the buggy eyes.
Yep.
So yeah, they have a clear silhouette of an eyeball that's blinking.
And worst Simpsons drawings, which are all like the really fucked up drawings of the Simpsons. I swear to God, I could keep going. There is fucking like dozens of these accounts, and you know the fucked up part? They all have like tens of thousands of followers.
It's very important to some people.
I love it. This sounds amazing.
It is amazing. Like, I followed all these accounts on Instagram now, and just my feed is now just like Simpsons fan art, girl flexing, Simpsons, and it's awesome. I'm having a great time. It's a good hole.
It's a good hole.
That's a really good path to walk down the internet, because you know the way you always hear these horror stories about, you know, just going on the wrong YouTube channel.
An Instagram
I'm so
night
sorry,
can
everybody.
be like way more fun than a YouTube night.
Oh, but YouTube night always ends up with like it's fucking 3 a.m. You're watching like 4 guys beat the shit out of a duck or something.
Yeah, it always turns. Yeah, because
It gets fucked up.
Yeah,
so
it does.
fast.
It does.
Yeah, because you'll watch a playlist of like funny like 10-second videos, and it's a great time until you get that one video where you saw a murder.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
legitimately,
Yeah,
like especially
for
for
real.
me, because I'll watch a lot of wrestling videos, and that'll transfer to UFC videos, and that'll transfer to street fights, and that'll transfer to fucked up street fights. And I swear to God, there's some nights I go to bed and I just don't sleep. I just stare at the whole ceiling, thinking like, why did I watch that? I didn't want to see like an 8-year-old beat a 14-year-old to death.
Oh my god.
It gets really weird watching animal videos, because then you're like, okay, I'll check out some reptile videos, but then you get into like snapping turtles, and that's not a good time.
Yeah.
They're not nice animals.
I think the worst I ever got into was escape houses, but like extreme escape houses, and I think it gives people honest to God PTSD. Like, it's people in a barn and they're like, yeah, I can get out of this and not be scared, because it's usually actors jumping out and being like boo, but instead of boo, it's like a chainsaw and they're being chased, or they're like being shoved into boxes and carted around. Anyway, I watched that for a whole night on YouTube and it was terrible.
Do you guys think you'd ever do one of them?
I would have said yes before I saw them, and I was
Really?
like, these are so extreme that they're I
Because I'm
know.
curious.
No, John, I need to send you these videos. These are so
You
fucked up.
send me these videos.
Like, they push a woman down on the couch, and then someone pulls her through the couch.
That's fucking rad.
But no, no, you don't understand how horrible it is.
It's a really good time for the people working there.
I don't.
I'd love
Is
to.
it though? Because how often do you think you're working there and
You
someone
get
turns
punched.
around and just punches you in the
Yeah,
face?
totally.
So they have like a first aid kit, but it's actually for the staff.
Yeah, you're like
not for,
the mummy, and you come shambling out of your sarcophagus, and some frat boy just lays you out.
Oh Jesus!
I'm sure that has happened.
I guarantee
Oh,
that's happened.
100%.
That
I've been
happens in every
watching-
state in America.
America's so weird with their TV. I've been watching Scare Tactics on Netflix.
Okay, everyone.
Go on.
This is the quest log.
Sorry, it's just so fucked up, but it's like, it's a prank show, but the pranks take it so far. So there was this guy, he gets, like, he's set up where he needs to move people out of houses. Like, it's like they're evicting people, and he's like accompanying this guy, and they find a woman in the room with her legs sawed off. And like, this guy comes in, and this honest to God dude was gonna jump out the window, and they're like, stop, you're on Scare Tactics. It was just like,
Oh, you got me, dog.
Like, at what point do they stop? Like, at some point do they come to your house and they're like, sir, your whole family is dead. And it's like they just keep going, and then eventually they're like, wait, you're on Scare Tactics.
but that's it. They shoot people, and people drop dead, and they were like, people think they've killed people. Like,
That's so dangerous.
it's so fucked up, and there's 5 seasons of it. It's so like,
5
I was like, what
seasons?
is wrong with everyone?
Oh, I'm watching some of that.
Tracy Morgan, like from 30 Rock, introduces it, so I feel like they
Fuck yeah.
wheel him out to be like, it's a joke, it's fine, but and they put silly music over it, but it's all really, really fucked up shit.
What's the name of the guy who does To Catch a Predator?
Chris Hansen.
Because I've always wanted to do like a reality like skit show where you go to people's houses with him, and you have like all documented footage of their like Facebook profile, and just being like, well, what's this and what's this, and you keep making them out to be a predator, and they just keep freaking out, and you see how far you can push them. I have a lot of ideas for fucked up reality TV
That
shows.
would be so mean.
So fucking awful.
It's just called Gaslighter.
Gaslight.
You're just really fucking with the
I think
reality.
That would be made in 2005, for a fact.
Yeah, and but now it's like that shouldn't be airing anymore. But it was.
They would just call it a different name.
I think I read this idea for a reality TV show on Tumblr once. I don't think I made this up, but it was a reality TV show where you have one straight guy and you put him into a house full of gay guys, and they have to figure out who the straight guy is. The twist is that they're all straight guys. Wouldn't that be just amazing?
Oh wow, I'd watch that. Actually, speaking of YouTube holes, have you ever watched like early 2000s Japanese prank shows, like those compilations.
Are they horrible?
There was one where it was a guy going into a phone booth, because those were a thing in the early 2000s, but then he like presses the call button, but like a false roof opens out and loads of snakes fall into the phone booth with him.
That's not a prank.
But the people were laughing.
Surprise snakes.
They got him.
Like, at some point, there's going to be a guy walking down the street, and a group of lads are going to hop out of a van and just beat the shit out of him, and then they're just going to be like, no, it's alright, mate. It's a prank.
There was one episode of Jackass like that with Brad Pitt, where like it's just Brad Pitt standing around in a movie queue in Hollywood, and he's like, hey, I'm Brad Pitt. Nice to meet you. And he's just talking to people. And then a van pulls up, and it's the Jackass guys. And they're like, hey, you're Brad Pitt. And then all of a sudden they grab him and pull him into the van and drive away.
Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss podcast, the world's strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with two of the most ruthless business moguls you are ever likely to meet. To my left, there is not a contract he won't break, a humanitarian clause he will not violate. It's the closer, Bryan.
My hands are crystal clear.
To my right, the master of merger. She laughs at your 2 weeks' notice. It's the liquidator, Niamh.
Hello.
Really, I feel like after what Bryan...
Sorry, let's get wet.
Nice.
And with you always, I'm your host, Josh. Bryan, whenever I say any name that isn't mine, it always gets you after like 100 fucking episodes.
I just want to know what you're going to say this time, but I'm glad it's an old reliable like Josh.
Sometimes you got to go back to the classics, you know? So, as you can maybe tell from this episode so far, we're playing it a little loose tonight. There's not a whole lot of news. We ain't been doing a whole lot. So there's probably going to be just a lot of shooting the shit this episode.
Yes. That's the plan.
That's the plan. And we're actually going to change things up a little bit this episode. We're going to have our 2019 email spectacular, which will come right after our two regular sections. But before we get on to all that, we got a little announcement, little shake-up coming. We're going to be moving the podcast to a Monday release schedule from now on. Basically, you know, as you guys are all aware, we all kind of have our own like jobs and professions and stuff. Sometimes contracts move around and we get like busier at some points in the week than we are in others. So this will just mean that like when we can record, we can do it kind of more just relaxed and just kind of, it just suits our schedules a lot better. So apologies if there's a little bit of a shake-up, but just bear with us, and we'll be putting the date of the next podcast out on Twitter. So thanks everyone. It will not be... Yeah, we'll if you're curious when the next episode's out, just check the Twitter or the Discord or however you interact with the LFAB community.
It will be a Monday in August, and it will not be the Monday that you think it is, because please be realistic, buddy. It's the other Monday, okay?
Definitely the other Monday.
It's not that Monday.
Okay. So, I guess going straight away off our quest log, guys, I want to talk about Shag and Scoob.
Okay.
Bryan, I mentioned this to you briefly. Niamh, have you heard of this at all?
No,
This
not
is
at
so
all.
fucking weird. Okay, so it's this webcomic. And it's like a webcomic about Shaggy and Scooby from Scooby-Doo. And it starts off as just the most shitposty thing you could imagine. Shaggy's like, "Where's the mayonnaise, Scoob?" And Scoob like vomits a bunch of mayonnaise.
That's the joke.
Yeah, perfect.
It's pretty good.
You really like that, didn't you?
Yeah. Mayonnaise is just funny.
I think vomiting is very funny,
Yeah.
honestly. You show me a good vomiting clip, a just good impromptu vomiting clip, and I will lose it. But, or like a dog screaming. That's pretty good.
Or cat talking.
Oh, cat talking clips are so good.
I love you.
Like, this is something they've been trained to do, and they're in so much pain doing it.
It shouldn't be making those noises.
It's very good. But anyway, so that's how this comic starts off. Niamh, I'm really going to need you to focus. I know we just talked.
Okay, I'm on it. Scoob.
And Scooby is talking like "Row."
Yes, the whole time Scooby talks exactly like how he talks, and he talks in very short phrases, like not a lot of words. But slowly continuity start. This is a free webcomic, by the way. Everyone can just read it online, and I will link it as my loot drop later. But this is so. But slowly continuity starts coming into it. They make like a really fucked up Mickey Mouse. But it kind of looks like a guy in a Mickey Mouse costume. And he takes them to this really weird haunted house where there's like a photo frame of Goku.
Okay, keep going. This is the most crossover thing.
Yeah.
This is Kingdom Hearts of the internet.
It is a huge crossover thing. And this eventually turns into a Dragon Ball Z-esque battle manga starring basically 90s cartoon characters. And it's weird because with something like this, I think it has the potential to be kind of cheap, right? Because you could write the most standard ass battle manga and just have it with 90s cartoon characters, and it's going to be kind of entertaining. But they actually do something that like I really super appreciate and I think is really cool. A character's power level is determined by how well known they are by the human population.
That's amazing.
So
it's like if you stop believing in a god.
Exactly. And so at one point, Bugs Bunny shows up and everyone loses their fucking mind. And he comes across as like a legitimate, dangerous psychopath. And so, you know all the stuff... So you know like all the fourth wall breaking stuff that Bugs Bunny does? He actually does that in the comic. Like he turns to the audience and he's like, get a load of this guy. And the other characters are like, who's he talking to? And they're just like, they say when you become this powerful... you can hear the voice of the ancients. So, like, that's how they fit Bugs Bunny's character into there. And it's kind of rad. Like, I'd say, like, some of the character writing isn't, like, especially fleshed out. Like, Scoob, like, Shaggy, who's the protagonist of it, kind of just turns into, like, shonen protagonist. Like, not really Shaggy. But then other people do. And then, like, just the absurdity of some of it. Like, seeing Scooby-Doo face off with Bugs Bunny and go, rhyme to rocking Bry. It's like really good.
Did Scooby fucking die?
Time to fucking die is what he's saying to like Bugs Bunny, who's like a complete beast. And then like
is Bart Simpson in it?
Homer is in one part, and Homer is like he's one of the fucking big guys in it. Like
yeah,
he's on Bugs Bunny's level. And Goku has not appeared in person, but like when he does, Jesus Christ. And the art is so much better than it should be for an idea like this. Like it starts off really rough, but I swear to God, like Brian, I showed you a drawing of Bugs Bunny, and it's like it's really fucked up and scary.
Yeah, it looks rad.
Yeah, and the most recent, I don't want to give too much away, but like the most recent arc I'm at, Mickey Mouse has showed up, and it's like he's just a stone cold killer, and it's really fun. And I think the guy who's doing this is super rad for just taking it this far, and like the shift from like from just like a shit post to like a legitimate like full-on battle manga is so gradual.
I love when that happens, when you're reading something, you're like, this is just a laugh.
Yeah.
And then you get completely engrossed in it, and you're like, I'm taking this really seriously, and if I recommend this to people, they're going to think I'm the fucking idiot.
Yeah. Like, I can't wait to read the next chapter, The Hidden King Part 5.
How long has this been going for?
I think there's about 130 chapters.
Wow. Okay. It's a whole world out there.
The dude has a Patreon as well. And, you know, I would encourage people to contribute to it because he's doing good shit. So, yeah. You know what, guys? That's been all the media I've consumed recently.
You've just been reading.
Just been reading some fucking Shag and Scoob, and it's been awesome.
Are Shag and Scoob like the main characters always? Kind of like it's through the lens of Shag and Scoob?
So, Scoob is one of the 7 generals.
Wait, the fucking ranking of all this shit is...
So
there's generals and kings and shit?
along with Homer Simpson, Mickey Mouse, some and a couple of others. But like, there's other people in it, and like, say like Felix the cat is in it.
Okay.
Felix the cat gets his fucking head kicked in.
Oh, but he's kind of like, he should be an old god.
I guess it's like it's kind of modern standings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Betty Boop would die, but like
Yeah.
like she should be powerful.
Yeah, everyone has a power in it called the ballyhoos, and you have to awaken your ballyhoo. Bugs Bunny's ballyhoo is dead air, and he just fucking wipes people out. It's really scary. Don't even want to say what Mickey Mouse's is, but it's fucked up. Mickey Mouse does some awful things to Patrick from SpongeBob.
Not Patrick Star.
Yeah, but everyone can go read it like now, and it's fun. I'm having a good time. Like, it is what it is. It's a webcomic. You know, some of the writing isn't the strongest, but other of it's done so much better than you think it would be. You know,
Sounds amazing.
I am having fun with it.
Just major respect to long-running webcomics in general.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
holy crap.
Yeah, I think that's a well I want to go further down, because I bet there's a bunch of awesome stuff that no one's talking about.
For sure.
But yeah, Niamh, you have finished Stranger Things season 3. Finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so torn on this season. When it, like I said before, when it's good, it's so good, and when it's bad, it is so damn bad. There's some moments in this season, particularly the action, the fight scenes with Elle, like there's a scene where she pulls something in half. It's very good. Like the start of episode 7, I was like, this is one of the best episodes of Stranger Things.
That bit is so good. Yeah.
Then halfway through the episode, I'm hit with like a really extended advertisement for Coca-Cola, and I'm like, this is the terrible episode. This is the worst.
About that bit in person or on the podcast?
I think in person.
In person.
We need to stop hanging out in person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We have to leave all our conversations for the podcast.
We hung out for 3 hours the other week and we didn't record it, guys. Sorry. Not sorry.
I'm just gonna say.
Did it really happen?
Just gonna say, best episode we've ever done.
It's actually pretty good.
All the shit came out.
All the shit.
Can't talk about that.
No.
God, guys.
Sorry, Niamh. Sorry.
Just the Coca-Cola advert was so jarring to me, and I really hate that Netflix is doing that. And before the episode, it's just like, there will be product placement in this episode. And it's not just product placement, it's literally everything Lucas says this season. Like, the most lines he has is dedicated to talking like Coke.
Coke versus New Coke, because that was a thing in the 80s. And they're really they really want to lean into it, and there's nothing there.
It's really frustrating because I think there's so much interesting stuff in Stranger Things season 3. Like, I think Billy as an antagonist was good. Like, he's really scary.
Billy was the best part.
Yeah, for real. I think they squandered the relationship between Max and Billy. Like, I feel like that should have been an emotional linchpin instead of doing these weird flashbacks where it's like, Billy isn't such a bad guy. He was once a child on a beach. Like, it's so generic and basic. It's just him and on the beach with his mom, and it's just like, Ella's like, remember her sun hat and her sundress, and it's just like, oh, I guess Bully isn't horrible.
We're not so different, you and I.
But I just thought that moment
That's the best part of any film.
could be so much more powerful if it was between him and his sister, and not just like Elle leeching into his mind and seeing like such generic stuff.
I don't think you maybe get it, Niamh, because like, he's a bad guy now, but he has like sad things in his past.
It's just such a weak redemption.
That's so good.
Yeah,
it doesn't even click in my head.
That's why he's acting bad.
The character writing was just so awful this season. Like, Hopper as well felt like he had a character transplant.
Just a really angry, destructive person.
Michelle fucking loves Hopper so much.
I don't understand.
She
Michelle.
likes large men.
And like,
Yeah, but he's really horrible this season. I love
he's
Hopper
always been
season
like
1
very,
and 2.
Like to me, he's always been very headstrong, but he's never been like a fucking moron
or a dick. Like, he's been headstrong and stubborn, but like a well-meaning person. And in this one, I was just like, I don't know why I like this character. Like, he's just being really dismissive of Joyce. People still treat Joyce like an idiot.
I think Michelle was telling me about this. She was like, basically, Joyce is like, I think something supernatural is happening, and everyone's like, There's Crazy Joyce again.
Yeah, literally, like, you're
Yep.
seeing things. It's just like, this has happened. This is the third time. Like, come on. Just frustrating stuff like that. I really did not like the character writing this season. Wasn't buying a lot of the relationships. I really thought Robin is a character in it. She's a new character. Steve and Dustin were my favorites. I liked watching them together.
They were very cute together.
They were really fun, and Erica, Lucas's sister, joined the team, and she was also really, really fun. But they met her this weird cheerleader for capitalism in it.
Yep.
For some reason. And it's the same season where they're kind of talking about small business being destroyed by the mall. So you're like, what are you trying to say? I don't understand.
It's the 80s, Niamh.
Is that just what they're trying to say? It's
Can I
like
try? Can
the
I try
80s
and,
happened?
Can I try and predict how this season ends?
Yeah, go on.
So they kill the fucking monster, or whatever, but then another monster like starts appearing, and one of them just goes, "This is just like last time, only." Then looks fucking dead-eyed down the camera. "Only stranger," and then and that's the theme music.
That would have been better, to be honest.
I'd love that.
Yeah, that was
Well, I'm really good at writing stories. Yeah.
as you've shown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt disappointed by it.
Did you like the scene with Robin and Steve?
No. So Robin is a lesbian, but it isn't about Robin being a lesbian. It's about Steve and his hair, and it's just like it's a plot twist for the entire thing. It's kind of like, oh, Robin and Steve, and Dustin's like, how about Robin? And it gets to this point where Robin is telling Steve how obsessed she was with him. Then it gets to a further point where it's like, oh wait, her obsession was that she was sad that all the other girls liked him and not her. But it was still all about Steve. Like, everything about her
See, Bryan, never fucking
attraction
happy.
was Steve. It was just really
Yeah,
bad.
no, I get you, because it's not like she has like a relationship or anything.
No,
It's-
and
it's-
this is the season that's all about relationships.
Lesbianism is like a punchline
to Steve.
Steve's.
Yeah, because you think
sure.
they're going to end up together, and it's just like, twist, there's a gay person.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gay.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's really like, oh, poor Steve, you know, and like,
Yeah, he looks so let down.
How
Yeah.
dare she?
and like, he doesn't even say it's okay or anything afterwards. He makes a joke, which I guess is fine, but it was still like, I don't know, she's coming out in the 80s, dude. This is really dangerous.
I really like their last scene where they're working in they're trying to get jobs in the video rental place. I hope they stay like best friends.
Me too. I would really like that as well. And like, I really like Robin. I think she's a good character. It just felt her gayness was used as a punchline and as a shock twist. And in a season that was just so full of relationships, you've got Mike and Eleven, Lucas and Max, Joyce and Hopper,
Billy and all the moms.
Billy and the weird predatory moms, and Nancy and Jonathan. Like, just with a season that's just full of those, and that's literally all the interpersonal stuff is about relationships. It's just felt like, oh, so the gay person is actually a gotcha for the rest of that kind of stuff.
Sure.
For Steve's,
Yeah,
pairing.
no, that makes sense.
Okay, this bit is just for the Duffer Brothers, because I know you listen to it. Season 4, Ryan and Robin's girlfriend. Do it, or you're cowards.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
I'm like I like Stranger Things. I'm on board for season 4. I just thought this was a really disappointing season in a lot of ways, apart from spectacle. Like, it looked great, but character stuff was the worst.
I watched the first episode. Don't know if I was saying this in the podcast
Yeah.
before, and just I don't think that show's for me. Like, there was a few parts where I was like, kind of, it was like nails on a chalkboard, you know, that kind of repellence.
It's like sugar in some places. It just hurts your teeth.
I'm okay with the sugar stuff, but just some of it's fucking obnoxious. Like fucking Mike and 11. Oh, Jesus.
He's such a little shit.
Yeah. And it's like,
I really hope as well in season 4 that they switch the actors who play Mike and Will, so they're playing Will and Mike instead.
how do you know they didn't do that this season?
I'm not sure. I just want to see if someone does it, and then someone does like a frame by frame YouTube video where they're like, "Did you see that?" Because nobody would. Fucking bull cook kids.
Bryan.
Yes.
So, I'm not sure I'm reading this right. You wrote you watched The Matrix?
I did.
Did they make a prequel to The Matrix 2?
So before The Matrix Reloaded,
Right.
which is not only the greatest film of 2004, but also the greatest film of the 21st century.
No question.
They made a film, a prequel,
Really?
in 1999 called The Matrix.
That's weird because The Matrix Reloaded is so, like, I guess, self-contained.
I know, but
What's this? What does this one cover?
you know the way in The Matrix Reloaded Neo can fly and stuff?
Of course.
It's before Neo could fly.
Oh, who would want to watch that?
I thought so too, but anyway, I saw it, and I guess it's been a long while since I saw this movie. Okay, The Matrix is 20 years old, and it came out in the summer of '99 among plenty of other films. Like, didn't Phantom Menace come out that same summer? Or is that
Phantom Menace was 96.
96? Wow.
Yeah.
That's.
I think so. I'm nearly certain.
I thought it came out in '99 as well.
Oh no, I'm probably wrong.
I think you might be.
Okay, well,
Oh shit, it is 99.
Okay, anyway,
6s and 9s, they all look the same.
I'm keeping score here. Brian's winning. Just saying. The Matrix is a film that came out 20 years ago, and it's got a re-release in the cinema, and I saw it, and I actually want to talk about the re-release because that film was shot digitally, but then it was like converted to film, I guess.
Oh, weird.
Or maybe it was shot in film, but some shots had to be digitally composited because there is a lot of like computer special effects in it. But what you see up on the big screen has a lot of film grain in it. So when you see CGI with film grain on it, it looks like bad data moshing and artifacting.
Perfect Blue has that problem. The original footage for Perfect Blue, like on Blu-ray, is grainy as shit.
Yeah. So this is the exact same thing. So it looks really surreal because it's like the story is still so contemporary, even though like, okay, like people are using like Nokias instead of iPhones, but like the bare bones of the story could definitely be told today and it would still be like very relevant. I there's no point going into the synopsis. It's The Matrix. It's about Neo.
Yeah.
And you find
It's how he got to The Matrix Reloaded.
yeah, and you find out that the world you're in is a simulation and that you're on the brink of 1999, I guess in a loop, which is kind of fucking crazy. I don't know, like it's really cool to watch this movie 20 years later and knowing who the Wachowskis are now compared to who they were 20 years ago, and you can like read that film in new ways that you wouldn't have before. I think that film really, really holds up. I was really, really impressed. There are some hokey shots in it, and some of the dialogue is really, really cheesy, but it's a solid movie that would not be made today because it's an original, like, multi-million-dollar action movie.
Yeah, totally.
Like a big
Jesus.
blockbuster movie, and like they won't do that anymore unless it's an adaptation, sequel, or remake. And I'm just so glad this film exists.
What's your favorite bit in The Matrix, Brian?
My favorite bit in The Matrix,
Probably the fight with all the Smiths.
that's in The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, probably then when Morpheus cuts the car in half.
That's in The Matrix Reloaded.
Okay,
as well.
what about the albino twins?
That's also in The Matrix Reloaded.
Okay, well, why are we...
I'm actually going to get to them in a sec. Because I've got a whole thing.
He does, it's good.
Okay, The Matrix, the first Matrix movie, I really, really like the dojo scene where, like, Neo goes, I know Kung Fu, and he goes, well, show me. And then there's a gong, and it just hard cuts to them in the training dojo. I feel every scene in that movie is there for a reason.
The idea of being able to download Kung Fu into your brain is so fucking rad.
There's a really good bit as well after they're in the process of rescuing Morpheus from the heist, and there's a helicopter, and Trinity looks at it and she calls up the operator and goes, I need training to learn how to fly this helicopter. And he goes, just a sec, and he like just types it in, and then she's like doing like a weird rapid eye movement kind of thing, and then she can fly the helicopter.
So good.
So good.
And she's the first one to kill an agent as well, because she goes, dodge this, and shoots one. And then Neo's like, I want to try that too.
I think the idea of the agents was so cool.
It's such a great, because like all the people who are plugged into the Matrix are potential agents, and the way they can like leave a human body, because there's this one bit where like Neo's running away and he runs through an apartment and there's an old lady and he looks back and it's one of the agents throwing a knife at him.
Oh, it's so good.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then when he defeats Agent Smith, actually, I think Agent Smith's my favorite character in all the movies. He's fucking wild.
Hugo Weaving?
Hugo Weaving.
He is amazing.
Nerd movie actor Hugo Weaving, because he was also in the Lord of the Rings movies. My favorite bit, well, I guess all of the Matrix Reloaded. So I'm just going to talk about the Matrix Reloaded.
Okay, so
go
top
for it.
30 moments of the Matrix is
The
all
Matrix
of the Matrix
Reloaded.
Reloaded.
Okay.
So number 31, what do you got, Brian?
Okay, so the twins from the Matrix. So in the Matrix Reloaded, you find out that the Matrix that they're in is not the original Matrix. Rather, it's like a reboot of a reboot of a reboot. It's probably like way down the line. Could be the 10th version, could be the 30th version, could even be the 100th version. Because what they think is the future could be way down in the distant future. And Neo meets the architect, and the architect explains that the first Matrix was heaven, and the human mind rejected it. The second Matrix was hell, and the human mind couldn't handle that either. And from there, they kind of refined it back and forth to being this kind of weird, inconvenient world that we would recognize as our own.
Inconvenient world.
But the remnants and software from the second world, which is the hell world, had werewolves, vampires, and ghosts. And in the Matrix Reloaded, they talked...
We should put some vampires in there.
I just really like that the machines were like, what scares humans? And they programmed a bunch of vampires into the Matrix. And like now, I need to stress, the vampires just look like people in the Matrix, so they're just wearing like cool suits, but they have sharp fangs. And the werewolves, they're kind of a bit scruffier looking, and the only way to kill them is with silver bullets. And then the ghosts are the twins from the Matrix Reloaded, and they can shift.
The greatest characters in film history. They're just fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think about them like twice a week.
I know. I'm never going to get you a present I'm more proud of than the ghost pillow.
I'll take a photo of that just so people understand how important the ghosts are.
Yeah.
But there's a character in the Matrix Reloaded called the Merovingian, and his wife is Persephone, played by Monica Bellucci, and he has hired all these people to be his goons.
Sorry, Brian, 1 second. What's wrong, Niamh?
This is just it. This is like Brian's terrible movie that he loves. We all have it, and this is it.
Why? What's terrible?
Not terrible.
The Matrix was a groundbreaking film that paved the way for The Matrix Reloaded. And yeah, it's kind of shit. It kind of sucks in comparison, but it got to The Matrix Reloaded, so you have to cut it some slack.
I get it. This is your underworld. Like, I understand.
Niamh, you have brought up Underworld so many times.
I know. I get it.
You just like it because there's a girl in it.
No, werewolves
Oh,
and vampires.
no, that is true.
Vampires.
That is 100% true.
Trinity's a girl.
I love Trinity.
Do you like Morpheus?
I do, yeah. I like
Morpheus is so fucking good.
Morpheus is so much cooler than Trinity.
Okay.
I really, really like leather dusters, hackers, and just people going over and over, what if this isn't what it is? and so, just shit like that. I just think it's so fucking funny.
How do you feel about Vanilla Sky?
Vanilla Sky is a very special movie that is excellent in places and frustrating in others.
Totally. 100%.
Okay, perfect.
Is that the one that ends with Tom Cruise like turning around, looking into the camera and being like, I'll see you in the next life,
Yeah.
where we'll both be cats, and then I think he jumps off a skyscraper and it cuts to the credits? I might be remembering that wrong. I don't care.
I really like that it wakes up with him like in his big like New York mansion apartment thing, but it's to Radiohead, and then he's driving around in his fucking sports car through Times Square and nobody's there.
I think I turned that film on once, and like it was on television, but it was like the second half, and I just could not fucking make heads. But like, I wouldn't trade that experience. I don't want to watch the full movie.
Okay, so my 3 favorite Matrix movies are The Matrix Reloaded,
Number 1 with a bullet.
then The Matrix, then Vanilla Sky.
Perfect.
That's it.
Good. That was a fantastic talk about The Matrix.
yeah, and not The Matrix Reloaded.
Really happy. Niamh, why don't you tell us about another movie that was also inspired by The Matrix Reloaded? Let's talk about Midsommar
I saw Midsommar. I like that everyone has to say it that way.
Yeah, you've got a
Samar.
Samar.
Well, what are you, a bigot? You got to say it that way.
You have to respect other people's cultures.
I loved
Niamh.
it. I loved Midsommar.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's fucking rad.
Okay, are we going to do a spoiler talk?
Can we?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like,
No, we'll just put a timestamp in.
yeah.
I've got it ready to go.
Check the description for the timestamp. We're going to start talking about the bold bits from Midsommar in 3, 2, 1. Activate. I needed a word, and that was the first one that came.
We have activated.
They sure did hollow out that bear.
Oh my god, we can't go to the bear straight away. Midsommar is probably one of the most affecting movies I've ever seen. The first 15 minutes, the first bit of this movie is just the most uncomfortable and upset I've ever felt watching a movie.
Really?
Yeah, like it was
I think I was too, and I'm usually
really
not
dark.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
I'm usually not shaken by that stuff, but like
This shook you?
it was really upsetting.
It was so upsetting, and the actress, what's her name, Bryan?
Florence Pugh.
Pug.
Florence Pugh.
She is like exceptional. Like,
She's amazing.
she's so young. I think she's only like 22 or 23. Her expression of grief was so raw and so visceral.
You should see her in Fighting With My Family.
I will now. I want to see everything she's in. She's
she's the best.
phenomenal.
She's fucking hilarious in Fighting With My Family. Sorry, go on.
It was just the most guttural, vivid
Like
description
actual-
of grief
Yeah.
I've ever seen visualized on TV. Like, I can't imagine, like,
Raw human wailing.
yeah, like it came across. And the whole stuff with Danny, she goes through this extremely awful family tragedy, like just awful. But a lot of it is centered around her relationship with her boyfriend. When she gets the news of what happened to her family, her boyfriend is actively talking with his friends about how he wants to break up with her. His friends are like, you wanted to break up with her for a year. So this guy is going to his friends and talking about how he wants to dump this girl for over a year.
We've all known people like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is like, but he's too much of a coward, and he says to his friends, but what happens if I want her back? Kind of thing.
That's so weird.
So he would actively just talk to his friends about how not into her she is and how he's sick of her shit, then actually break up with her and be
of mine
happier.
did that to me once. They were talking about like their significant other, and they were like, yeah, I think I'll probably break up with them in like maybe like 6 months to a year. And I was like, what? Why break up with them now? Go fucking live your life.
Yeah, why would you do that to someone? Anyway, it's just like this guy who basically wants out but has been kind of holding on because no other prospect has, I guess, come along. And then he is hit with his girlfriend going through the worst tragedy of her life, and he feels trapped in it.
And she was
More
already
trapped.
like kind of unstable.
Yeah, she's like the family, like the family has issues with mental health, like all across the board. And like it's kind of like a horror film in reverse. It starts off so dark
And so cold.
and you get the finale, like you get something is ended, and now all that's left is the trauma, and all that's left is getting over it. And it's like daylight is there, life goes on, days go on, but you are processing the worst fucking thing that has ever happened. Danny, she finds out that her boyfriend was planning a trip to Sweden, thank you. A trip to Sweden with his friends. He was going for a month and a half, and he was going in 2 weeks and never told her about it. And she finds out at a party, and it's again just another knock to her.
The scene where he tells his friends that she's coming is one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
Oh, that like he's gonna invite her, but she's gonna say no. But you know,
like she's coming over to the apartment, and he's like talking to his friends, and he's like, "Okay, guys, she's not coming, but I need you to all act like you know she's coming and be cool with it. But she's not actually coming, okay?"
that was such human dialogue.
Yeah.
And it was.
And these
I
guys
feel
like
like I've
hate
had
her.
that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just like, it's so real. And she comes in, and you know, like when you break the stillness of a room when you walk in and clearly someone's been talking about something really serious or about you or something, you just feel that from the acting. Like she's interrupted a moment. And there's so many good shots where at the start of it, where they put everyone in the scene by using mirrors. So she's separated by the room, like she's the other end of the room. And instead of the shot going behind her to put them all together, there's a mirror in the room where they're reflected back. So it's just like, there's just this really like, she's there, but she's separate all the time.
Yeah.
She's part of it, but she's separate. And she goes with them to Sweden. They're not happy about it. The group isn't happy about it. One of the guys, Chidi from The Good Place, is going to write his thesis on this festival, this Midsommar Festival. And
then there's the friend who's like the lad.
Yeah.
I thought the dickhead lad I thought was hilarious.
He's
so
and he
funny.
thinks this is going to be a lad holiday where he'll sleep with some girls, you know. And
then there's their Swedish friend who's actually like inviting them back to his commune.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He's very good.
They all go together, and there's this moment, and it happens so early in Midsommar, but it's in the same in Hereditary, and it's where Ari Aster flips the camera upside down, and it's the cars driving along, and it just goes completely upside down, and it kind of just makes your stomach flip.
And it's real like, oh, this isn't the normal world.
Yeah.
And, like, we are leaving normality behind, and it's fucking cool.
And that happens in Hereditary as well, where she goes...
What bits did happen in Hereditary?
She's going to the cultist lady's apartment who's giving her the stuff to do the seance. And it flips as well in that moment. And that seems to be this kind of mark of no return. That happens really late in Hereditary. In like Midsommar, it happens so early on. They lit the sign that says the festival name is literally where the camera flips.
It's
so
weird
once they get there, they're fucked.
because like there's a bit in the first Avengers movie where the camera flips upside down, and I fucking hate it because it's like it just seemed like something they wanted to do for the sake of it. There's a bit in the first episode of Berserk 2016 where the same thing happens, and I hate it. And it was so interesting to finally see this camera move that I feel like directors do when they have no idea what else to do with the scene, actually like super focused and like really working. And yeah, it was cool.
It's like it's really unsettling when it was happening, and it just felt like it was going on for ages. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get sick.
Yeah, because it goes on for what I felt like a good 20 or 30 seconds. Like it's just a slow, and it's rad.
They get to the festival,
And this is like where the remainder of the movie takes place. Like
The whole rest of the movie.
yeah, 3/4.
Yeah, you're there for the next 2 hours, buddy.
It's sunlight the entire time. I don't think you ever see darkness again.
No, not really.
It's a festival that happens, was it every 90 years?
They do have a festival every summer. It's just this is the big one.
Yeah.
This is the big one.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I got from it. Maybe
Same.
they do it every
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
they all knew the rituals and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a commune of people with completely different rituals and ways of being. And it's just interesting because, like, when they're there, Danny's boyfriend decides he also wants to write his thesis on...
Oh, that made me
on the
so
people.
mad.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
such a dick move.
It was such a dick mood, really fucks over Chidi and stuff. So now there's two people there who are basically there, like, to study. They're not engaging with everything. There's one guy there who's just trying to, like, just have sex. That's the party boy. And there's Danny, who is trying not to step on anyone's toes because she's like, she feels like she's out of place. She feels like she shouldn't be here. Like, she kind of feels like she's tagging along. But because of that, she kind of engages with the customs. Like, she's goes
the
with
one who
the women.
participates.
Yeah, she participates in
She
it.
does baking and everything.
Yeah, and she eats with them. Like, she really puts herself in it.
Can we talk about the mountain scene?
Yes.
Or the hill scene?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, where they're at the quarry and there's the rune on the rock and they cut their hand, and then there's the slab, and
So at some point, it's like they mentioned that, like, that these people see the human life in seasons, and at 72 is when, like, your final season is over, and they're like, oh, what happens at 72? And someone just smiles. And it's pretty obvious. Like, at that point, it's pretty obvious. Like, oh, they killed them. Like, these people see death as this super casual thing. And so I thought I had the film figured out, and, like, to a point, you do. But there is such a world of difference between taking that conceptually and seeing how this hill scene plays out. Where basically just these two old people, one of them just walks to the edge of the cliff and just steps off and just smashes her face and they do not shy away from showing you her smashed face.
Yeah.
And it is, I don't know that I've ever, like, that death has ever seemed that, like, real and visceral in a movie to me. Like, it was really like she was there and then all of a sudden she was just a bag of flesh. Like, the life was gone from her, and it was fucking awful. But then I'm guessing her husband,
I think there were just two separate
Just two
volunteers.
separate people?
Yeah.
he steps off as well, but he goes down legs first. And so you just see his legs snap off the side of this rock that he was meant to, like, dash his head off. And everyone's like, oh, fuck. And you're like, this is awful. This is so awful. But then you just hear, and he's still alive. And so they bring over this giant mallet.
A big ceremonial hammer.
And take turns cracking him in the skull until he's dead. And it's so fucked up. It's so unbelievably fucked up. And, like, their whole argument is, like, listen, this is a more honorable way of going than, like, rotting in a nursing home.
And they chose it.
Yeah, which it's not even wrong.
Are there any select bits in the film that kind of jumped out at you? Because I know for me it was when they show that tapestry quilt that's all hanging out, and it explains, you know, how you would make someone fall in love with you, and it's just the illustrations that are on it are just so simple and graphic. Yeah, they're just so simple but graphic, and you're like, okay, and then that just happens as normal, and you're like,
with the juice.
Yeah, then it's a different color to everyone else's.
You got that, Niamh.
Yeah.
The sex scenes, I guess there's the one where the boyfriend goes into a room, and it's just 20 naked women and one naked woman on the floor, and they all kind of get into a synchronized chant.
I did not like that bit. As in, like, I was so uncomfortable. That is a nightmare.
There's the bit then where... What else happens? I guess it's the very end of the movie where they just have the burning ceremony.
I thought it was so awful when they had the heads, but they had put them... basically, everyone they've killed, they have their heads.
Yeah.
But they had them on these little stuffed jester bodies, and it was such a, like...
Yeah, they've turned to, like, weird little toys.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, they've fashioned these, like, dead bodies into, like, these really stupid-looking little toys, and it's like death comes so naturally to these people that they don't... Because, like, these people, they're not portrayed as evil, really.
They were all different what they turned them into, and this is the one thing I have against Midsommar is I would love to know more about the customs of the cult, because a lot of it, like, it wasn't explained, and it's left like you're just in the middle of it and it's happening, and people who do it all the time are doing it. But as an audience member, like, why did they dress Mike up as the jester? Because he was the one who was jester. Other people were other ones, like the Londoner was found like in the chicken shed. Like, what does it mean to be in the chicken shed?
And
Oh,
like,
Chidi
I would
was
have,
like buried underground with his feet sticking up in the air, wasn't he?
So there was all these different things, and it's just like they're clearly for a purpose, but we're never privy to that kind of purpose.
But yeah, quality horror film. Like, do you guys prefer this to Hereditary?
I think what you guys were saying last time is so true. Like, Hereditary is such an easier film to recommend and for people to watch.
Hereditary is just a classic ass horror movie.
I think, yeah, totally. It's like, it's a classic great horror. Yeah. Midsommar to me is like, it's just something special and weird. Like, it feels like The Wicker Man or Rosemary's Baby. Like, it's so...
It's so its own thing.
It's so like, different.
There's maybe one scene of actual violence in Midsommar, like one scene of someone like physically assaulting another without it being consensual, and I think that's so special. It's like it's so hard to generate horror without violence, but they do so often in this movie.
And there was catharsis in it as well. Like, I thought one of the best moments for me was Danny sees her boyfriend having sex with a girl in that weird room, and she breaks down. She knew this was like guys treated her like trash, and she has not been there for her, and this is the final thing that just gets her to fall to pieces, like, in public, because she's been doing it on her own. And the women of the community find her and are on the floor with her, and they start matching her breathing and matching her screaming. And for the first time for her, someone's meeting her trauma head on and is going through it with her, you know what I mean? And it was just like this real moment for her, and I think that's when she became part of the place.
Yeah,
really.
for sure. Because at the very end, when people are screaming because they're burning, she syncs up with their screaming.
Yeah. But it just felt like she had that moment of people caring about her, and that's such a weird thing in such a also extremely brutal film.
And like, if you've never seen the film and you've listened to this section, you should still totally make a point of going to see this movie, because it's one of those movies where us describing it will never match the sensation of watching it, because the way this guy puts together horror is so specific and so chilling. Like, I think one of the reasons that the opening quarter of the movie is so disturbing is that even when not covering horror, this guy can scare the shit out of you. And I think that is a fucking gift. Like, it really, really is.
I can't wait to see what he makes next.
Me neither. Really, really excited. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, Niamh.
Loved it.
Yeah. That's going to take us into our strategy talk. Bryan,
Yeah?
why don't you tell us about Super Mario 64? This is a new title from Nintendo.
Yeah, it is. Fresh out of 1996, I'm replaying Super Mario 64 for the N64, but I'm playing it on the Wii U because the emulation on the Wii U is actually really, really good.
Yeah, it's surprising.
And it's got save states and everything, because some of those later levels are a pain in the fucking ass. The last time I played this game was on the DS, so that was the port of Super Mario. So it was just called Super Mario 64 DS. And that was a launch title for the system, and you could play as Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Yoshi. And that is basically like a completely different game in terms of geometry, and they add extra stars and... Niamh.
Oh, now we gotta fucking start again. Bryan, count it down. 3, 2, 1. Bryan, why don't you tell us about Mario 64?
Oh yeah, so I'm replaying Super Mario 64. I don't know, like it's really weird to replay a game that you kind of played 10, 15 years ago, but you actually haven't played since you were a very young child.
Yeah. And
some of the game is super fucking janky, and like he's very slippery to control as a 3D platformer, because like this is Nintendo's first 3D platformer, and they had to invent
kind of the first 3D platformer
in some ways. Yeah, because like stuff like Crash Bandicoot is in 3D, but like it's very corridor based.
Yeah,
this is like a more open world field 3D platformer.
Totally, yeah.
So some of it is real janky, but then other parts are present in games today.
I love how surreal that game is.
Yeah, it looks like a vaporwave.
Yeah, 100%.
The aesthetic of that game has aged so well.
Yeah,
and like
that looks so good.
It's so cool playing it in crisp HD, but with the low res textures. There's Hazy Maze Cave, and that has all these trippy visuals, and that's where you unlock Metal Mario.
Like, even just Metal Mario is so fucking weird.
Yeah, and there's no like special lighting in the game, so the way they have to do special lighting is they have to like put it into the textures. So the final boss battle against Bowser, he has this cool...
Oh, it still looks class.
Yeah, he's got this cool like neon purple and green lighting on him, but that's not a lighting effect. That's just like they swapped out the texture of his reptile skin to just like a reptile skin with a pattern on it. I'm really impressed that this game holds up, and it's completely playable in 2019.
How does it feel playing a Wii U?
That controller feels so fucking cheap. It rattles.
I
it feels
picked up my Wii U like last year, and I was kind of horrified. I was like, "Oh, whoa!"
To me, when I pick up the Switch and when I pick up my iPad, they have like the same kind of serious tech weight to them. But when you pick up a Wii U gamepad, it just feels like a VTech.
It's like Fisher Price.
Yeah, it feels like a baby toy.
Yeah.
So good then.
Yeah. I'm very happy this game still holds up. I was worried it was going to be a complete shit show, unplayable disaster. But for the most part, it has problems, but the charm outweighs all of it, so it's fine.
Cool. I'm really glad. I love that game. I really want to go back and play it at some point. I'm I'm still playing Dragon Quest 11, still having a great time with it. Think I'm probably going to beat it soon, so I don't want to talk about it too much this podcast. But I also decided to dip my toe into Final Fantasy 14.
Oh dear.
Shocking.
Shocking. A shocking twist. This is a weird one for me because like I have a kind of weird history with MMOs. I was big into Ultima Online, which was one of the first big ones. This was years before WoW, as far as I'm aware. And it was like the old Ultima RPG series, except online. And I always have this memory of it, which like is still feels so like revolutionary to me today. Basically every Sunday me and my parents would go down to Meath and we'd visit my dad's family, so we'd see all my cousins, kind of my granny and stuff, and me and my cousin Bryan would like hang out. Like his dad used to fix arcade machines, we'd hang out and play all them or play like whatever console was lying around and all that stuff. But then when like, you know, the evening was over, I'd kind of go home and I'd always be kind of sad about that. But when we started playing Ultima Online, there was this one evening where we both had it, and he was like, okay, when you get home, go to this spot on the map and I'll meet you there. And we both thought that like there's no way this is actually going to work. Like we understood that this was like an MMO and stuff, but like we just hadn't really played enough. The internet wasn't enough of a thing for that concept to make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing his name, his user tag appear on the map was like one of the most mind-blowing things that I've ever experienced in a game. And like now it's like it's real kind of like common, but that was such a like magical memory for me in terms of like the evolution of gaming. Like holy shit, this is so new. And like we hung out for like, you know, 2 hours just in Ultima, like chopping down trees and like trying to fight monsters that were way too high level for us, and it was great. But since then I tried to get into other MMOs. I played EverQuest and I kind of hated EverQuest. I played like a week of World of Warcraft. I thought it was cool, but like I didn't ever get into it. And so that was kind of where I left MMOs. And part of the reason I wanted to play 14 is because like it's so many years later, and I was really curious to see how MMOs have evolved and what what does the early game of an MMO look like. And I've discovered that they haven't evolved at all.
Yeah, it's
the exact same fucking game. Now, like,
go kill some bugs.
Go fetch some pelts. I fetched some pelts in EverQuest 20 fucking years ago, and I was fetching pelts in this right off the bat. And I joined a guild, and it's the same thing. And I'm shocked.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's broke.
That's fine.
But like, I get to a point that like this is the early game, and this is me. And this is the same as someone saying to me, "Yeah, I played Street Fighter 2 and Ryu has a fireball, and I played Street Fighter 5 and he has a fire." Like that's what I'm saying right now. You know, I get that, and so like I want to continue and I want to keep going, but man. MMO, like early game MMOs, it like aside from the fact it looked nicer, I could have been playing EverQuest. Like it was insane. I had one ability on cooldown. I would tap it every time it came off cooldown. I would auto engage in enemies that were weaker than me. I tried to punch a tortoise that was much stronger than me, and I had to run away. Yeah, it's an MMO, all right. It's one of those.
What character, race, and class are you?
So I am a cat person.
A Mikote.
I'm a female Mikote. She's very pretty. You can make some cute characters in that game. And why don't you two guess my class?
Thief?
No.
Fight girl.
Fight girl. Bryan.
I would have gone with thief.
What's that supposed to mean?
Could have been a cat burglar, just saying.
I feel like you're getting weirdly personal here, Bryan.
Yeah, well, you set it up.
Are you gonna stick with it?
No. Head says yes.
Okay.
Heart says I want to play some fucking Dragon Quest. I think out of raw like curiosity, I will. Like it depends kind of how busy the next couple of weeks are going to be. But I want like this is a curiosity endeavor for me. I want to understand why people like MMOs so much.
Okay, I'll tell you why. I was playing Final Fantasy 14. I went to someone's house. I saw someone message me in town. I saw them again when I went to the housing area. So I went into their home. I found their home. And the whole house was really ornate, but it was set up like a corridor. So I could only go up a flight of stairs. So I went up a flight of stairs. There's another straight corridor wall, and I went just down the corridor. There was one door at the end of it. I went into it, and there was just this box at the end covered with 2 screens, and there was only a little hole you could look into. There was 2 cat people in there, and they were erotic role-playing, and they were having a great time, and I felt part of their kink was leading people to them to see what was happening.
It's like the little peep show.
Yeah. You gotta roleplay, John, and you gotta get horny with it.
That's so cool that people are using technology in such amazing ways.
They should make a
Is
Black
Second
Mirror
Life
episode
just a
about it.
giant fuck party?
Yeah, it's big orgy for like ghosts.
It's also a vivid community.
That's incredible, Niamh. Like, what the fuck?
Like, you know how people
And
are
like,
building robots for like
so-
nanotechnology.
So the sex part was
They were just emoting on top of each other,
Okay.
but they were also doing public chat so I could see what they were writing.
right.
Yeah.
And they were role playing.
Were they good at it?
I didn't want to know. I just left.
Oh god.
I literally typed, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just walked out.
Okay, so what I would have, I
Whoops.
think in that situation, like, I would be just as uncomfortable with as you, but at a certain point, I'd be like, you know what, I'm fucking here. Let's see where this goes.
I felt like, because I kind of felt like I did just walk into their house, so it was my fault for seeing it. You know what I mean? But I also feel like I was led there.
Because I was looking at like the server list, and there was one that was like the roleplay server, and I was like, oh, I guess if you want to be like a fisherman.
No. As a cat person, if you hang around long enough, someone will start talking to you.
Okay.
That's not the only reason people play that game, but I think
Yeah,
it's
because
one of the bigger
I've heard the
ones.
story and stuff is actually great, but I've also heard you have to get through like basically the base game, and then like halfway through Heaven's Word it starts being cool, and then Shadowbringers is meant to be just like fucking great.
And like, is Cloud in this?
No.
You can get, there's loads of like, there's so much fan service stuff. Like you can
You
get
can, like, dress up
Squall's
as you in a
outfit,
cloud
yeah.
and stuff.
you
Okay,
know.
so it does a Final Fantasy stuff. This isn't just some weird cat orgy thing.
Think of this as like it's just another Final Fantasy that is only loosely connected to the rest of the Final Fantasies.
Okay. I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
So if I run around my starting village as my cat lady, Aisha Kitaro.
Stay in like a main hub area long enough. Like by a big crystal.
And you will
Do you
get
know,
hit on.
I feel like some little gnome guy kept running under me, and I think he was trying to see like my character's pants.
Yeah. Could be.
And I was like, no, that's not what's happening. But I think it might. I really don't know if this conversation is going to make me never play that game again, or get way the fuck in.
I want to get well into the RP scene. I want to fucking lose my life there.
Niamh, let's make a documentary.
Yeah. Maybe I'll fall in love online.
You're already in. Never mind.
For the documentary.
Okay. I was thinking you'd be like a camera person or to move on.
You really got to try yourself out there.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy 14 gets a kind of shaky shrug from me, I guess. We'll see where it
It's
goes.
a big old 69.
Oh, Niamh, tell us about Judgments.
I've played 15 hours of Judgment, and I'm pretty sure 10 of those are in the arcades. I don't know if I like Judgment.
Is the story good?
I don't know. It's Judgment is a murder mystery lawyer game, which is very light on the lawyering and the detectiving. You play as disgraced lawyer Yagami, who is now working as a private detective.
Takigami.
Yeah.
Are you past the first case?
Yeah, I am.
So that's about where I am, and not really feeling a whole lot.
I feel like if that story picks up, I could be super into it. But right now, I'm like, I fought the same Yakuza so many times.
The first boss fight where you're fighting a Yakuza in his Yakuza office, I was so bummed out. I was like, really, guys? We have fucking 7 games of this. I don't need to do this again.
This is my first time fighting Yakuzas in a Yakuza office, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. You know, I'm just shocked at the level of fighting, which I guess I shouldn't be because it's a Yakuza team game.
I think you're right though, because like if you want to, like, Kiryu beats people up and solves problems by accident. That's what he does. Yagami's a detective.
Yeah, and they really weakly try to tie in his, like, you know, his skills and...
Oh, that conversation made me so mad.
He grew up on the streets.
It's not even that.
No, or what? He was taught how to fight?
He just does it in his spare time.
He took some classes when he was a kid.
So
then he developed his own fighting style. That's all so far.
Like, I kind of... the detectiving kind of happens is you get a photo and you can scrub around the photo for points of interest, you know.
Just like Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, stuff like that. There isn't much more than that.
I don't think the detective stuff is fun.
Yeah, like you're running around the town a lot, going to different people, looking for camera footage. It's a lot of busy work. Maybe this is just how Yakuza games play, but I feel like I'm running all around the town all the time consistently, like from A to B. And guys will start fights with you along the way. Yeah, and guys will start fight with me, and I don't really do much.
Yakuza is a little bit like that, but combat, at least narratively, is more central in Yakuza. Like, combat really matters to Yakuza, these characters, you know, and like your ability to fight represents your will to change the people around you. Like, it's kind of, there's a lot of like thematic hooks in the combat in Yakuza that makes me give it a lot of slack. That hasn't happened here yet for me.
Yeah, I'm like, why do people keep on fight me? What have I done? Yeah. It's really weird.
They just don't like your hair.
I like going into the shops and buying food and eating food. I like doing kind of everything that nearly isn't playing the game.
How much Virtua Fighter have you played?
A lot, like a real lot.
So when Niamh told me that she was playing Judgment, I was like, oh, cool. And then when she told me that she was playing Virtua Fighter in Judgment, I was like, yeah!
I really enjoyed it a lot. And like, I love the Virtua Fighter game. I know nothing about Virtua Fighter, but every character seems designed based on a verbal description of a Tekken character.
Virtua Fighter came first.
I don't care. They look like knockoff, like knockoff Paul.
No shade. Virtua Fighter is the best 3D fighting game, and it's not even close. It's so good.
I'm having a good time with it, and I was playing Fighting Vipers as well, which was really funny.
Fighting Vipers is really silly.
The like dead Yakuza thing.
I'll tell you
the on-rail shooter.
Fighters Mega Mix, which is Virtua Fighter versus Fighting Vipers.
Amazing.
It is amazing. You can play as the car from Sega Rally.
Did you play that game where it's like a 3D geometric racing game where you have a battle axe?
Yeah.
I didn't play this.
So that game was only previously available in arcades in Japan in the 90s, and this is the first time it's been ported to anything outside of the arcade. So it's a mini game in Judgment on the home console.
That's rad.
I was watching Rebecca play it the other day, and she had a drone mission in which
I hate them.
He seems to be fighting lots of perverts. So he fought the king of the perverts, which was
fighting the pervert has been my favorite part of the game so far. That was really funny.
So this was one of the like pervert goons, and he was like a man who can climb on walls, and he was just scuttling along the side of a building, and you had to chase him with the drone and zap him.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Because
I was very impressed with that.
Like, I don't like a lot of the gameplay mechanics around the detective stuff, but some of the cases, like some of the side cases, are actually pretty fun. Like they're really silly.
I hope I run into more of that, because when I'm enjoying it, I am a lot. But then I'm like, why am I spending all my time in an arcade? Like, I don't know. The story hasn't gripped me yet.
So I like the charm.
That's fairly normal.
The charm of the Yakuza games, though, is I feel like a lot of the time the story is really compelling, and there's this really nice tension between just like wandering around Kamurocho and doing all these missions and then being like, okay, fuck, now time to get serious, and like watching a really great cutscene play out and they frame this guy as a total badass and it's like, oh, is he even stronger than Kiryu? And it's like a lot of stuff like that. And maybe but see, the thing is, I'm not looking for that in Judgment. I want Judgment to be its own thing. It's reminding me too much of Yakuza without hitting those notes properly. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'm going to stick with it because I think if I got into that story, I could really get into it. I like a lot of the characters. I like, what's it, Kaito?
Open shirt.
Yeah. He's really handsome. Yagami, I'm kind of like, maybe I'll warm to him a bit more. Sometimes he's great, sometimes he's a bit annoying.
I'm kind of into his backstory. I'm like, yeah.
I am too. I just don't like. He's very protagonist-y right now. I don't really get a personality off him, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of like an everyman who was cool.
And like, for me, it's very hard not to compare him next to like Kiryu and Majima. And it's like, nothing's ever going to stand up to either of those two. Like, those are two of the fucking best protagonists ever, and so it's not fair to, but you know, it's such similar games, it's kind of difficult not to.
I'm going to stick with it. I really
Me
hope
too.
I fall
Like,
in love
I'm
with
not
it,
done with that
you know?
game, and I want it to rise in my estimation. Like, I want to love this game, so we'll see. Brian,
Yeah,
you have once again been playing Splatoon 2.
I have. The last kind of big Splatfest was over the weekend. It was Chaos versus Order. I sided with Chaos. We won.
Hell yeah, brother.
We fucking kicked the shit out of them.
What a bunch of lamos who picked Order.
Yeah. So I was on Pearl's team. She picked Chaos, and then Marina was with Order.
Okay.
Yeah. They've been doing Splatfest since July 2017, and they do them maybe every 6 to 8 weeks. And some of them have been really, really fun. Like, which is better, ketchup or mayonnaise? And they actually changed the ink in that, so the ink was ketchup or mayonnaise. They had vampires or werewolves. They had, would you rather be able to fly or be invisible? On holidays, do you like to relax or go hiking?
That'd just be a bunch of cool people and a bunch of perverts.
Yeah. Which one are you?
I'm a pervert.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Niamh?
I feel like I would just be like burnt at a stake if I flew, so I'll just go invisible
with all the perverts.
Yeah, like I feel like there's too much like judgment for flying.
You can't get in trouble if they can't see you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Can't judge if you can't see.
Yeah. And so this is the last kind of one that Nintendo have been running, are running themselves. But there's a version 5 update coming out at the end of the month. And part of that is apparently you can make your own Splatfest.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
They have supported that game in some fucking awesome ways.
I really, really love Splatfest weekends just because you like go to the hub world, but all of a sudden it's like a rave.
Yeah.
And the music's changed and everyone is...
Bryan showed me some of this and the music was like fucking banging.
Yeah, everyone's going fucking mental, and then like the normal battle music is completely different music, and then in the last minute during the countdown bit it gets so fucking real. I love the sound and aesthetic, like visually and in terms of audio.
Yeah,
that game is so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's not just that like it looks cool, it's how it all plays together.
It feels so fucking I really want to be a squid.
It's okay.
Or a kid, I don't know. I really like Splatoon, and it's the best-selling game on the Switch in Japan. Splatoon
Holy
2.
Shit.
Splatoon 2 has sold more than Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey.
Do you have a figure?
I don't have a figure, but I double-check because it's part of like, you know...
I'd be super curious to see how much it sold. That's awesome for a relatively new IP.
Yeah.
I guess Splatoon's a big deal in Japan.
It is. No, it's just... They love it.
Cool. That's rad. Guys, let's say we do a very brief Quicktime event. There's a new Overwatch character. Moving on.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Guys, we're going to move into emails. We want to take a few emails this episode. We got a little time. We can get a little loose, right?
We have all the time in the world.
All the time in the world.
I'm good.
Maybe
for the
we'll
next...
never finish recording.
Yeah. Let's just see how many we can do until we feel kind of...
Until we get tired.
Let's just like plug the email first.
Okay. Bryan, actually, you know what? Scratch that. Niamh, if I wanted to send an email, where would I send it?
You would send it to askletsfightaboss@gmail.com.
That is correct. askletsfightaboss@gmail.com. Basically, we want to try and get through, honestly, only a tiny, tiny fraction of our backlog, but we're gonna see what we can manage here.
Yeah, we have a lot of emails. Some of these are serious. Some of these are just quick questions. They're just going to be one after another.
We're just gonna have some fun with it. Bryan, why don't you pick a first email?
Okay, Caleb. Do any of you have any experience playing tabletop RPGs? What's your experience been like? Do you find the endeavor enjoyable or unbearably cumbersome?
Yeah, I played some tabletop RPGs in my time. Me and Niamh used to be in a Dungeons and Dragons group together.
We sure were.
We sure were.
One of the best times was when John DM'd. It was pretty good.
Oh, thank you, Niamh.
John's a good DM.
That was the Spooky Forest, wasn't it?
Yeah, Spooky Forest.
I find D&D and all that stuff unbearable. I'm not interested in it.
There is something in Bryan's brain where like it just does not click, and I've seen it happen on like a couple of different occasions. But you're not the only person. Like I've seen this with other people as well. You're just not up for it at all.
I would rather fold laundry than play Dungeons and Dragons.
That's so harsh.
Yeah,
Laundry sucks.
I just don't. I just find it tedious. That being said, I have backed the Bloodborne board game on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But mainly because I like that IP and it comes with little figures.
Is it the role playing or the dice rolling that pisses you off?
It's not knowing how long it's gonna fucking take.
Yeah, you have to invest in evening.
Yeah,
and
like
setup.
it's an evening.
That's like Caleb used the word cumbersome. I think that's my issue with it. I would love to do more of it, but as an adult trying to get free time with other adults to play a game where someone has to give up their space to do it, it is so difficult. And I've started more games and not been able to finish them, not just because of me, but just because of other people dropping out. I've never been able to finish a full campaign of anything.
Oh, me neither. Never.
And that really bums me out, especially if you want to get invested in an OC or a character.
And like that's kind of the part of it I love as well. Like I love the role playing part of it. The dungeon fighting shit, like I couldn't care less. I never really have a good grasp of what the battle is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love the bit where it's just you and a bunch of guys wandering around town and you're trying to figure out what's happening. Like that's my favorite part of any like kind of role playing campaign. Thank you, Caleb. The way we're doing this is if you include your name down at the bottom of an email, I'm going to read that out. If you didn't, we're just going to refer to you as Anon. So, for example, this next question comes in from... Oh, actually, I really like this one. This next one comes in from Anon. Hello, most powerful podcasters in existence. I've got a quick question. Like a Johnny Boy, I am also a practitioner of martial arts. I've had a very long history with Northern Shaolin Kung Fu and boxing. My question is, John, if you can assign a style of martial arts to Niamh and Bryan, what would it be? That's interesting.
Please do.
I've been kind of thinking about this.
So, I know last episode we had ones where you were making... I think it was all of us making up fight moves or fighting styles, but this has to be like...
This has to be a legit
legit one.
I'd be super curious. If you guys like... And I know that basically nothing could displease you more than having to practice a physical martial art. But if you had to learn one, what would you pick?
Drunken boxing, because I like the name.
I think there's a difference between which ones I think are aesthetically pleasing versus which one I think I'd be, I could practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Taekwondo's tough.
Yeah.
That's you'll get your head kicked in doing Taekwondo.
Yeah, see, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So if you were just going to assign us one,
if I was going to assign you guys one,
in a world where we're capable of doing this stuff,
I think Bryan at his best is kind of like he's like working a system, and he's kind of chill, and it's kind of breezy, and he's having a good time. Bryan's unhappy when things aren't going with the flow, and so for that reason, to Bryan, I'd assign Aikido, which is a very kind of like use your opponent's energy against him, kind of transfer, all that kind of stuff. Very little actual kind of strain, because I don't think you'd like that, Bryan.
No.
I don't think you'd like boxing. I don't think you'd like jiu-jitsu. I don't think you'd like anything like that.
I'd rather just observe and make my move.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Niamh isn't like the most physically imposing person I've ever met.
Verbally, she is.
Verbally, she is, but there is kind of a killer in Niamh. Like, I really wouldn't ever want to fight Niamh, and like I'm like twice her size, but it would kind of worry me because she always tells me about the kind of things she'd do.
Yeah.
And I think there's like a viciousness to Niamh, and I would like to see if I could harness that viciousness with a good load of Krav Maga.
Cool.
Which is all just fucking take whatever's nearest and jam it into the other person's face, and just it's a really vicious martial art, and something that I think maybe would send Niamh home crying, but there's a tiny chance in there that it would just open her up to a world of violence she never knew possible. So those would be the martial arts I'd pick for you guys.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Let's Fight a Boss fighting tournaments. Niamh, do you want to pick a email there?
Yes. This is another one from Anon. Are there any gamer tags y'all had that were cringy? I remember a kid whose name was Life's Rebel.
What a badass.
I used to have one. It was called Super Eye Patch Wolf. What about you guys?
When you were a Pokemon trainer, you had a name.
God damn it, Bryan.
What was it?
So, my Pokemon trainer name,
And this is in Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Red and Blue.
Red and Blue, and every other RPG, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, it was Blade. Do you know what my name was in Final Fantasy VIII? Blade 2.
What? Wait, you changed Squall's name
Yeah.
to Blade 2?
So when I
But like Blade 2 is in the number 2 or like 2 eyes, like World War 2.
number 2.
That's not even stylized then.
So there was a really nice moment when I was
Hello, Blade 2.
when I was hanging out with Wooly before. That came up. I was like, yeah, my old gamer tag was Blade, and Wooly looked at the floor and he just goes, my old gamer tag was Blaze.
Perfect. You guys are perfect for each other.
2 pieces of shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blaze and Blade.
Oh man, maybe we should start a cop
Yeah.
show. What about you, Niamh?
The worst one I had was Lanfear. And it's a character, it's Lanfear, it's from the Wheel of Time book, and that's only bad because those books are really bad.
Oh, are they? I've wanted to read them forever.
They keep going and they don't end. So that was like the worst one I think I've had. Yeah, that's probably it. No, wait. No, for MySpace forms I used Kunimitsu.
What the fuck does that mean?
That's a character from Tekken.
Tekken character.
Okay. I've always used Bryan We Trust. I don't know.
That's a good
God,
one.
yeah,
But
you-
the thing
you
is,
had
as
your
well,
branding down
Bryan
so far.
Brian's always been very confident with that name. Like, that's just his name in Bryan We Trust.
Even though I'm a big fucking liar. I love telling lies.
Brian does love. Why are you bringing up your lies now? Because
Yeah,
I know
are you
Brian.
lying about in Bryan We Trust?
No, I've for as long as I've known Brian.
Yeah.
And you had no like embarrassing weeb names. You know, like Sword Striker 7.
Okay. For a hot minute, I really, really wanted to like South Park, but I wasn't allowed to watch it. But I went on a forum and told people I knew what South Park was, but I had to wing it. And so I made a username, and it was Dead Kenny. But it was DED Kenny.
Whoa.
Nice.
What do you guys think are some like good usernames from people you know?
Literally none.
No. Maybe it's just
What,
because,
good or just...
or just like say, do you know anyone who has a username and they've had it for like forever and it always kind of worked?
all like long-term ones, yeah, because like I know people who recently have changed their usernames, and it's like that's gonna work. But I guess like from the very beginning.
Yeah.
There's a guy I know. I won't say his name. I don't know if I could say his username.
Yeah, I don't want to see someone's gamer tag or
Okay.
username.
Yeah.
My cousin has always gone by Apocalypse, and it's just always kind of worked for him in a weird way, and he's still it forever.
How does he get that? Like, he must have to spell it with like zeros and stuff.
I think he's Apocalypse numbers in most cases.
Fuck yeah. Okay. I'll say the name, but I won't say what like platforms it's for. Paddy McFisto.
Sure.
He's a big Irish guy.
All the Irish gamer tags I see on like Destiny or anything are always like Irish guy, Irish friend. You know, it's like it's always Irish.
Irish friend.
Oh,
Irish man.
You know one I was actually super fucking happy
Irish
with?
Dan.
In Mass Effect 2 or 3, the multiplayer for that, I was Apollo Showdown.
Apollo Showdown's pretty good.
That's really good.
Name.
I had a friend who played Mass Effect as Sugar Heels, and it
That's really good too.
really upset me. I was like, your shepherd's called fucking Sugar Heels.
I had another one for a different character in Mass Effect 3 called Clint Beastwood.
That's pretty good.
I was pretty happy with that.
No, a guy who played true Final Fantasy X as Paddy. Yuna and Paddy.
Jesus,
The love that never ends.
Let's move on.
Okay, my one. I'm going to go down to the bottom.
Sure.
This is from Dominator. 90s anime aesthetic versus modern anime aesthetic. Which do you prefer?
90s.
Totally.
90s. But if you asked me 10 years ago, I would have said modern.
Yeah.
Because I think it needed to age and hit that right.
I mean, it's always a hard question with shit like this because like there's so much nostalgia tied up in how anime used to look. I don't like the kind of fetishization of old anime where it's like old anime was just so amazing.
It wasn't.
It really wasn't.
Like you would watch the 22-minute episode and maybe 1 or 2 minutes look good, but then the rest of it is just a load of shite.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of people still make YouTube videos about like oh man, what happened? Like, and I fucking love 90s anime so much, but it's such a weird reductive way to view modern anime, I think. But yeah. That said, I fucking love. Do you guys have like a particular show that like would say like this is 90s anime to you?
Cowboy Bebop.
Evangelion.
Yeah, those are both fine picks. Although when I was watching Ava, some of the facial animation, I was like, oh, that's a little.
I think it's just the silhouettes of Evangelion,
Yeah.
like the really tiny waist and the super long legs and the hair.
when you get like that key drawing, that's like the good one,
The perfect one.
Oh, it's so good. I actually really love a lot of the old Berserk anime. I think some of the Ninja shots from that are really, really beautiful. When Outlaw Star looks good, it looks really good.
Your memory of Outlaw Star looks better than Outlaw Star.
But I'm talking again, it's that thing Bryan was saying where it's like the 2 minutes of good animation per episode. And then there's an OVA series called Gunsmith Cats, and Gunsmith Cats is just the perfect 90s looking thing, and their OVAs, like most of it looks really good. And
Golden Boy still that looks amazing.
Trigun.
Trigun has a real charm to it.
Yeah.
How about like anime you like kids anime, like Pokemon, like original Pokemon looks cool.
I like how a lot of Tenchi Muyo looks.
Yeah.
Some Sailor Moon still looks really cool.
Yeah, old ass anime,
It's good shit.
but watch it with caution because it's boring.
This next one comes in from Grant, and he says, you guys often say we should edit this out. What have you actually edited out, and what would you edit out? Like, where do you draw the line?
We say that so often and never edit anything out. The last thing I can remember us editing out was for our 100 episode special, where we had all those really nice stories that we said. I decided to talk about The Perfection, which is a Netflix film that is probably the most traumatic film that has like literally every taboo thing you could think of or just awful thing you could think of in it. I went on a big rant about it. We talked about it a lot, and
It was like a lot of really heavy shit.
Really,
and I
really
think
heavy
like
shit.
about 10 minutes into the conversation, we were all just like, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the last thing we really cut because it just ruined the flow of a otherwise well-meaning episode.
Yeah. A lot of the time with our episodes, like I'll whenever I'm doing the edit, it's more I'll edit stuff out where the flow gets kind of lost. Like we might go in circles in a conversation for a minute, and I'm kind of saying, we're kind of saying the same thing here. Whereas I think it'd be more interesting if we just moved on to this next bit. But then, like, very occasionally, and I actually can't remember this happening with either of you guys, very occasionally I might say something really inappropriate completely by accident. And if I'm editing that episode, I'll edit it out. Or if Niamh's editing it, I'll ask her to edit it out. Like, one of the most... the biggest example I remember was when The Force Awakens came out. And... we talked about it for like 20 minutes, and then right at the end I said something about Carrie Fisher, and it was 100% unintentional, but it ended up sounding like I was making a joke that she died. And like I literally said it, and I was like, oh my god, like, because, and I wasn't even trying, like, it wasn't like the joke went too far. It was just like I had added the mathematics of my words up incorrectly and accidentally insulted a dead film star. And I wanted that to come out because, like, that it just sounded cruel and mean, and I was so horrified by it.
Just some nasty words came out of your mouth by accident. You didn't mean it.
100%, you know? Something like that happened with our Tomb Raider Let's Play as well.
Yeah, and we will not talk about that.
No, we will not. But yeah, so sometimes you just slip up and, like, something, like, it can sound awful, but you genuinely didn't mean it to, and so we'll take stuff like that out. For the most part, other than that, we kind of just edit for flow, like, just make sure the conversation flows nicely, that we're not repeating ourselves, or
there's no gaps of silence.
The very occasional time we might say something, like, let out a bit of information that's, like, too personal or something like that, just in terms of, like, geography even, or something like that. But for the most part, we don't we edit out very little. Niamh or Bryan?
It's Niamh then me.
This is from Marnie. I know back in early episodes and in some black tapes you mentioned that you watched and were really enjoying Steven Universe. I was curious your opinions on it now, with the main story arc having come to a close. I've seen some people's opinions of Steven Universe shift significantly from when they first watched it to now. I want to hear your honest opinion.
Honest opinion. I'll give mine. I thought the scheduling and broadcast of that show killed my enthusiasm for it.
Steven bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand why Cartoon Network just didn't air it season by season and just pace the shows like a normal TV show. I thought what they did to it was really unfair, and it just meant I couldn't enjoy it regularly. And I think there was a big year-long gap where there wasn't anything being made, and I think that's when the fan community got most toxic. So when you saw stuff about Steven Universe online, you weren't, like, enjoying it. You just wanted to get away from
really
it.
At each other's throats there for a while.
I do think it's cool that it's all there now. I might go back and just watch it all as one thing, and I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm sure that'll be cute.
Yeah, like I really like Steven Universe. I think my problem with it though is it was always very, very apparent to me that, like, it was a show being wrote by a lot of different people, and, like, there was a huge change in kind of tone from episode to episode, and that can be nice, but some of this was so jarring that I found it like kind of frustrating, because I'd want the story to continue and it wouldn't. Like, then you'd get, like, you know, an obscure character episode, and some of them were good, some of them I just felt kind of sucked, you know, and that really dampened my enthusiasm. But, like, when I think of, like, getting towards, like, the end of the first season, like the Lapis stuff where they didn't know what Lapis was yet, that was amazing. I think with all the Jasper stuff from season 1 was fucking brilliant. Like, or I don't know if that was season 1 or 2. Like, I loved that stuff so much.
Yeah, Jasper's so cool.
But I love Jasper too. Yeah,
but then I felt like kind of Jasper kind of got, like, kind of
completely sidelined.
Yeah, and, like, even just she felt so powerful and so dangerous. I felt like beating her up in a song was kind of like Garnet just beat her, and it was like there wasn't really a.
Oh, I love that song though.
It's a good song, but it's like
she needed to come back, and she never did.
It's like I needed something where it's like, oh, this is why Garnet can beat her now. Garnet's figured out something, you know, and maybe that's just me because of the shonen shit, but stuff like that I found it kind of hard to take. What about you, Niamh?
I'm kind of with Bryan. The release schedule really killed me. Like, I got into it when there was a good chunk of season 1 there, if not all of season 1, and just watching those episodes, episode by episode, it was some of the best animation I've ever experienced. Like, writing an animation and just style and just everything about it. I loved it. Those Steven bombs, the gaps without it, it just killed my momentum. It killed where I what episode I was on. I couldn't remember. I kept going back. Like, it was just really, the flow of it was so awful that, like Bryan, I'd love to go back and rewatch it all now, knowing that it's finished. Because I fell off somewhere, I don't even know where around
I have no idea what the last episode is I watched.
I can I've some vague memory of it being like the human zoo.
That's where I fell off.
But like, I think that was the last memorable episode, but I've watched loads more after that, but that's the one that sticks out in my mind.
And it's crazy because like I remember being like dying at the thought that I was going to have to wait to see what Gold Diamonds? What Gold Diamond was about. Like, oh my god,
White Diamond, probably.
I can't.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back to that.
It's something I need to go back to, and I really want to.
Who's next?
My go.
Bryan.
All right, I saw this one and I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant. This is an email for me. And this is from Benjamin. And it's, I just wanted to ask Bryan about his stutter. I don't think this has ever come up in an episode yet. Do you get embarrassed when stuttering? You seem pretty confident with it, and I admire that. Thank you. I've got a little stutter too from time to time, but I always try to play it off with humor or laugh it off because I feel embarrassed. That's okay. How'd you learn to deal with it? Is it something you struggle with? I don't know if I struggle with it. I guess I don't get it in the mornings. I get it at the end of the day when I'm tired. And I can tell when it's going to happen. I can tell when it's not going to happen, but it's not really a big deal.
Bryan, how long have we known each other? Like 13 years.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this podcast for 4 years.
Yeah.
I never noticed you had a stutter until I saw people bring it up in this podcast.
Yeah.
I never realized it until I had to edit the podcast.
Yeah. I guess it's because Irish people talk really fast. We all have it where we're going and, or you're kind of like trying to roll into the next word.
Yeah, it was just so weirdly surprising to me because I never picked up on it even.
I think everyone gets it, but it's not like the kind of one you see in a movie, but I think that's like a fake one.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you see movies and like they have a character with Tourette's and it's like fake Hollywood Tourette's.
I actually used to live beside a guy. He was like the father of the family and he had like a debilitating stutter. Like he would not be able to get the sentence out.
There's a delivery man that delivers around here sometimes and he has one and he rings me up on the phone and I just feel really, really...
He's lovely.
Yeah. That kind of takes a lot out of it. It does take the wind out of your sails. I wouldn't do speech therapy or anything like that. I find this podcast does all that for me, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of annoying when you're at the pub and you want to talk shite and then you're just like, I'm just like mentally and verbally exhausted and my brain is literally telling me no.
Yeah.
And so you're just trapped in some fucking record loop.
That must take the venom out of some of your stings.
Yeah. What's that film, The King's Speech?
Oh yeah.
That's actually very accurate. And there's a bit in that film where I think it's the speech therapist who's played by Hector Barbosa from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Jeffrey Rush. I love that actor. But he's talking about if you have difficulty saying some letters or certain words that start with a sound, that you use a vowel that you can use as a crutch. So you might go and then lead into the next word. And I do that, but I notice other people do that as well. And I guess it's something you can be like completely 100% aware of, or you're not aware of it at all. I really like that film, actually.
That's a great film.
Yeah.
But the guy who directed Les Miserables, and now he's directing a new film called Cats.
Hell yeah.
You guys see that trailer for Cats?
It was really
Yep.
good.
All I'm gonna say is meow.
It's coming out the same day as Star Wars.
Man,
Front row, I'm going to be there
Yeah.
with the rest of the theater kids.
can you imagine the Star Wars marketing team when they found out they had to go up against Cats? Like, just go home, guys.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Who's that video game guy? Adam Sessler.
Yeah.
He's got. He's not really around anymore, is he?
That's the bald guy who used to do Rev 3 gaming.
Yeah. Like he had a really, really distinct stutter,
Did
but
he?
like it was part of his like shtick.
Right.
Like just own it. I don't know. I don't really think about it, to be honest. Sometimes I
Yeah.
do, but then like I find if I think about it or if I don't think about it, I don't know.
I was talking to a YouTuber recently, and he's kind of newish, and he was like getting started, and he was kind of asking me. He has a kind of, I don't want to say too much because I don't want people to know who I'm talking about, but like he has a very, I would say, kind of mild speech impediment, but you would definitely notice it. And he was asking me like if he wants to take YouTube seriously, is it the kind of thing that he should go to speech therapy for? And I was like, dude, no. It's like part of why I remember your videos is because of this speech impediment. And it's like that's the kind of shit where you own it and you make it your own and people will remember you for it. Like, don't ever like unless it's like really debilitating and actually fucking up your flow, don't worry about it. Just
Yeah.
embrace it.
I feel it could be a label that people will give you, and maybe you don't like that label, but it could just be one of the labels. You can make more labels.
People are going to give you labels you don't like. And
Yeah.
you kind of just gotta own whatever the
I feel
fuck
like
you
that's
can.
such a dick label to give anyway. Like if
Yeah.
someone's like, if that's all they got, it's just like, shut up.
Yeah, totally. I got one. Dear Jam, Kirby, and Nib.
Yeah.
Nib.
This is from Anon. I have just finished my 2-year media course in college and I'm now moving on to the next major stage of my life. More than likely, university. Congratulations. While I'm excited to go forward with the passion, I'm sad to say goodbye to my class, who essentially became a second family to me. You guys frequently give good life experience, having gone through those experiences. What would you say is a major way of dealing with these kind of changes? I could really relate to this email because I had a really hard time adjusting after college.
Same.
I think college was the first place where I ever really felt that like I kind of found my people, you know? And afterwards, like especially our friend group, Bryan, like for a while there, everyone just split up. Like, you know, you went back to Cork, Jess went back to Kerry, Mike went back, like, and just kind of. And then, like, you know, the year below us, who are also friendly with, were still in Dublin, but it became like more difficult to see them.
Yeah, because we didn't have the anchor of college anymore.
Yeah. Then there was some people still hanging around who maybe shouldn't have.
Yep.
And that was really hard. Like that was probably one of the loneliest kind of years I've ever had. But I think part of the problem is like I was making it worse for myself because I was always trying to like reimagine how we could get back to that place. And that was actually a really bad idea because like I think when a situation is over, when an arrangement has gone by, like maybe it's roommates, maybe it's classmates, maybe it's something like that, it's never really going to be the same again. And I think you can save yourself a lot of pain by just embracing that and appreciating what it was and kind of just accepting that and moving on and welcoming whatever is going to come next.
Yeah.
Like life is a series of moments and like things are really nice while you have them, but the more you kind of try and hold on to things, like change, the only constant is change.
Yep.
and you have to go with that flow because
you can't try and recreate these things.
Yeah, because it's not just you trying to control yourself, it's you trying to control every other person's destiny. You know what I mean? Like, and trying to like fashion this, and that will only make you miserable.
And like you will then find yourself in scenarios where maybe like you're meeting up with those people again, but you want it to be the same, but it's not, because it's like everyone's different now. It's like, you know, the people you went to college with, this is kind of grim, but the people you went to college with, they don't exist anymore because those people aren't in college. You're not seeing them every day. And that can be sad, but like when you learn to accept it, it's kind of liberating as well, because you're kind of like, fuck, I can just adapt. You know what I mean? And I think like some of the times I kind of regret from my adult life is not embracing situations enough that I was in.
You'll make new relationships and new connections, and there are some that you will always keep. Like there might be one person that you'll always be in contact with, or maybe you won't see them for ages and you'll see them again and it'll feel like, you know, it'll just feel so natural that you'll slip into it. Or sometimes you might meet someone and it'll feel completely unnatural and you're like, wow, we have totally gone different paths.
Yeah, and definitely that feeling sucks, but I've gotten actually pretty fond of recognizing that. The sentence is going to sound really cruel, of recognizing that and just being like, you know what, me and this person, we don't need to hang out anymore. There's a lot of freedom in that as well.
Yeah, there is. Stuff changes.
Shed them like a snake sheds its skin, Niamh.
Yeah.
I recommend keeping a point total for all your friends, and whenever someone drops below a certain number, just whoosh, gone.
Just
Thank you.
Just take lots of photos and enjoy yourself.
Yes, what Bryan said, photos.
That's why I take photos of us hanging out, to prove that we did the thing.
We existed in a space together at one stage.
We have human bodies.
Niamh, do you remember once we cosplayed together?
Yes, I do.
Did we get a photo of that?
I don't think so.
Fucking god damn it.
Yeah.
John went as...
No.
John was Joseph and I was Caesar.
Yeah!
Photos don't exist, so don't ask.
You could see his belly button. Alright, Niamh, your question.
God. Never doing that cosplay again.
This is from Anon. Dear Bryan and Niamh. Oh my god, they don't even know.
Okay.
Wow,
I didn't even notice that.
That is the purest burn. That is impressive.
Okay, so this is just for the two queens.
Do you have any passion pet project or world that you've never told anyone out about, but you feel really secretly passionate about?
Toshigi no Hell Office.
Is it actually Toshigi?
No.
I would love if Bryan had been building on Toshigi no Hell Office this entire time.
I've actually added a little bit of lore to it. There's one bit in Toshigi no Hell Office where in the town everyone wakes up one morning and in their at the foot of their bed in the like main bedroom in every single house there is a newborn baby screaming.
Fuck off.
And they're like, where did these babies come from?
Yeah.
And it turns into this whole like national crisis where like they don't know what to do with the babies, and like you can't be cruel, so everyone just starts raising babies. But then like they start raising the babies to be fighters, so they're like fighting babies.
The infant tournament arc of Toshigi no Hell Office was maybe a misstep for the series.
But the merchandise was so good.
Look, I'm not saying we didn't make a lot of money. We made a lot of money, especially off Spike Jr.
Yeah. Anyway, Toshigi becomes a mom, doesn't want to be a mom, but her baby is so strong, maybe even stronger than her, until she beats up the baby, and that's the end of that arc. But whatever. Niamh.
I don't want to say mine after that. In my spare time, I like to illustrate Irish birds. And I would like to compile them into a little book about Irish birds.
It's going to be like one of those books you see, and it's like, oh, it's written by this really old sad woman. and then you look at the back of the book and you're like, oh, I didn't picture that's what she looked
you
like.
fucking killed me. Ah. I've never told anyone about my bird project.
We can edit all that out if you want.
Oh, we are editing shit.
I'm sorry, Niamh. That was really mean. It wasn't meant to be that mean, but that was nasty.
I mean, I guess you could say it was a passion project.
Niamh's crying. It's funny.
Well, that's a first. Bryan made Niamh cry. Not the other way around.
Oh, dear.
Next question.
I think I'm crying too. Wait, who's John? It's my turn. This is from Anon as well. Hey, what kind of music do you guys listen to? I know John uses a lot of lo-fi beats in his videos.
That's not true.
It's not true, Anon.
Nope.
And I heard Bryan once talk about Tyler, the Creator's album. You guys are beautiful.
So, people think I use lo-fi beat music in my videos. I fucking don't, because every goddamn person on YouTube uses lo-fi beats in their videos. And
I do. That's why I do my anime reviews.
It's such a cliche, and it adds so little to the videos. It just makes you sound smarter, and I have given up trying to sound smart, so I don't use lo-fi beats. I'll use like game remixes. I'll use weird techno songs I find on Spotify. I don't go near that stuff. I'm sorry, Anon, but you're full of fucking shit on that one. What kind of music do we listen to?
I'm still really upset.
Why? You said the mean thing.
But I don't like being mean anymore.
To Niamh.
Yeah, I don't like being mean to her. I could fucking drag you through the fucking ditches all day. Niamh's alright.
Yeah, I know.
Niamh, you're not a sad old lady.
You are, Niamh. And Bryan thinks so.
You're a beautiful, sad, normal age lady.
None of you will see the profits of my bird book. Okay, music. I can go really lesbian with this, or I can't. It depends.
Go full
Niamh,
les.
did we not
Are
have
we
a
going full
conversation
les?
about you toning down the lesbian?
Okay, we're going full les. We got Tegan and Sarah. We got Kate Bush. We got Sade. We got Katie Lang.
Why do you like this music?
Tori Amos. I love sad women with guitars because I'm a sad woman who, if I could play guitar, would play guitar, but I can't because I've no talent.
Katie Lang is great. I like her.
The Eurythmics. I like Duran Duran. I like 80s shit. I like Billy Idol and George Michael. And then I like chopper rap. I like Tech 9.
What's chopper rap?
It's when they rap really fast.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Tech 9 is my favorite. I like Busta Rhymes as well. I like when people like talk fast, I guess.
I like some good aggressive rap. I like rap about how you're gonna beat someone up.
I love aggressive rap so much.
Man, fucking early NWA stuff. It's still the best. I was listening to Straight Outta Compton the other day.
Yeah.
And man, those are such angry young men with good reason.
Yep.
But wow, could they turn it into songs?
The 80s fucking sucked for them.
Yeah,
and they're
they did.
pissed.
Dope Man was coming around.
Igor's a great album as well.
Yeah. Tyler's new album, Igor, is fucking awesome. Earthquake, the kind of solo track off it, the single track is fucking awesome, and that could fit anywhere in his library, from now or from 5 years ago.
And the aesthetic is so strong.
Yeah. Oh my god. My favorite Tyler album is probably Flower Boy, his previous album. That came out the same year as Kendrick Lamar's Damn as well, which is super fucking good too. But I just think Flower Boy is like the best thing he's ever done.
I don't know if I've ever heard a Tyler the Creator song.
Half of it is just like, I'm gonna eat some bread, your mom is gonna be dead.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like some Tom Waits shit.
And then the other stuff is like, I'm confused.
Yeah, pretty much.
I really should have told him how I felt. I'm confused. Just, that's his music now.
I used to love Kanye. I find it hard to deal with Kanye now.
Really don't like that
There's
man.
a lot going on there. Bryan's big not into Kanye.
I have the same birthday as that fucker. I just never liked the guy, and now it's okay not to like him.
Poor Kanye.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not poor at all. He's rich as fuck.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing well though.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. But you know what? He's not helping him in his case.
Yeah.
No, I like future funk. I'll just put on like an hour-long playlist and not know the song names. That's usually how I go.
Yeah, future funk's a weird one for me because it's like the kind of one extension of vaporwave I don't like because it's not sad.
Yeah, because Vaporwave is really like dreary and miserable.
I kind of go through phases. Like I'll go through phases, listen to a lot of Vaporwave. I know people think Vaporwave's dumb. I don't care. I like how it sounds. I love Witch House. That's fucking one of my.
What's Witch House?
Witch House.
It's like Crystal Castles and Grimes would be like the popular ones, but then like
okay.
But then
Grimes would be like very pop Witch's House to the point it's really like not like it's like it's a lot of like. Do you ever hear Deep House? It's a lot of like dance music, but a lot of like ambient droning, wailing,
female screeching.
It sounds really like occultish, and it's really
Purity Ring is one,
Yeah.
and so is Ooh.
and like a lot of them
I
are like
love that band.
Yeah, no, they're great. I've a Witch House playlist that I like to add to, and I'm very fond of it. I like a lot of kind of. When I like to chill out, I like to like just stick on like kind of weird, sad remixes of video game songs, and I like to sit in bed and not do anything and listen to them. That's kind of something I do. I like a lot of metal. I like a lot of really hard electronica, a lot of like kind of neon wave inspired stuff, but like not from. I like 80s music, but I like a lot of music that's inspired by 80s music as well. So yeah, music's nice. I like it. I think there's a lot of value in just sitting there and listening to a song as opposed to doing it over something else. And I'm trying to do that more because I always really enjoy it whenever I do.
Buying good headphones was the best investment I ever made.
100%. Yeah.
Fucking tone out that shit. Get into the music world.
Nier Automata soundtrack I listen to once a week probably. That shit's good.
Fucking Fortress of Lies is one of the greatest songs ever. It's fucking brilliant.
All right.
You want to do a final three?
Yep. I got one or two down here.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. This is from Fuya. You get to hammer the cast for Neon Genesis Evangelion live action film.
Wait. I have some questions about that phrasing.
What?
Hammer the cast.
Hammer the cast.
Does that mean the same thing here as it does there?
Like we're gonna.
I think it means you just get to cast.
Okay. You're not baiting them.
No, you're not baiting the shit out of them.
Or making sweet love.
Yeah. Hammer means a lot of stuff.
It could mean many things. Okay, Brian, that's just we don't need
Stop
that.
baiting them.
Okay, you can cast any actors, actresses, play any character, but the job is to make it so bad it's good. So I guess this is when you see like Jared Leto as like the Joker, and you're like, what the fuck? But you want to see the movie just to see that shit.
He was fine.
He sucked.
Okay, Shinji.
Hugh Laurie.
For me, it's Whoopi Goldberg. Pick someone. Anyone.
Vin Diesel.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, Ray.
We can't say. Fuck the girl we always say.
Lena Dunham.
Can't say Lena Dunham.
Okay, I've got one. Mindy Kaling.
Okay,
Who's
yeah.
she?
She's in The Office.
She's
in the Mindy
fun
Project.
and a comedian, so you know.
She's a very
Oh, yeah,
wrong.
no, I know her. She'd be a fun one.
she's a very bubbly girly girl playing Ray.
Asuka.
Same pick.
Chris
Mindy Kaling just like doing two characters.
Yeah.
I want Christopher Waltz, the bad guy from Inglourious Bastards, and then he was the good guy in Django Unchained.
This is barely Evangelion now.
Yeah, that's the point.
Kate
Okay.
Masato.
Lena Headey.
Christina Hendricks.
No, but it's gonna be so bad it's good.
Look, I got one fucking chance to cast her.
You need a straight man in the wackadoo casting, and I think it's Masato, and I think it's Lena Headey.
Scarlett Johansson.
Fair.
She's such a fucking problem now. Gendo.
Rachel Weisz.
That's oh, and she's like wearing a beard and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's full. Like she
could pull it off.
Yeah.
She could do it.
Like Tilda Swinton in Suspiria when she played a very old Austrian man.
We've run out of actors, I know.
I want I want Eric Andre to play Gendo Akari.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
And he's like, ah!
Ritsuko.
Oh. Lawrence Fishburne.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Okay, Shinji, Jake Gyllenhaal.
I like how we're not hiring like children. Like,
Shinji,
would you not
Chris
just get
Pratt.
Chris Pratt is Shinji?
No.
Like, would you not get like the kid who was in Hugo, Asa Butterfield, to play Shinji or some shit?
We don't know their
Or
names.
just hire some Japanese kid that's an unknown actor.
All we know is 90s actors. Brad Pitt's going to be in this movie.
Okay, I got one. Hey, Bryan, Niamh, and the Fallen Prince. Got a question for y'all. What were some of your childhood crushes growing up? They can be from cartoons, anime, TV, movies, or games. Thanks for recording such an amazing podcast every 2 weeks. Sincerely, Lee. Thank you, Lee. P.S. Mine was Harley Quinn, Ty Lee from Avatar, Misty from Pokemon, and Perona from One Piece.
Yeah.
That's a strong man. The idea that Perona was someone's childhood crush. I'm old.
Like, my back was sore when I found out who Perona was.
Yeah.
That's how old I am.
Yeah. What do you guys got?
Childhood crushes. You know how in Animaniacs the two brothers would always be like, "Hello, nurse."
Yeah.
But you know what?
Nurse.
Yeah, but like, Dot was really cute.
No, she was just a hot nurse, Bryan. You can't pretend it's like a cute thing.
Okay, well, what's her name in Roger Rabbit?
Jessica
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome.
No argument.
I don't. She was...
Oh, I've loads. Like, I'm ready to go.
Oh,
Okay, go. Then yeah.
Unload, Niamh.
Okay, Shigo from Kim Possible.
Yeah.
Starfire from Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But not
Um,
Raven.
Wait.
Starfire
Yeah.
and Raven as a couple, to be honest.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Rogue from X-Men.
With
And
the tiny-
Mystique. And Emma Frost. Like, everyone. Like, Jean Grey. Everyone from X-Men. Every woman from X-Men. And Wolverine. Just all the X-Men.
All the X-Men. I mean, that's good.
I really like Jubilee in X-Men. She was fucking cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
she was
Julie's
lame.
cute.
No, she was so cool.
Oh, fuck off. What could she do? Nothing.
That was her point.
She'd kick your ass.
She could not kick my ass. I'll beat the fuck out of Jubilee.
Gambit.
Angie Woman from Digimon. Devi Woman from Digimon.
That's disgusting. Niamh.
Claire Danes is Juliet and Romeo and Juliet.
That's not a fuck.
That's a cartoon character.
That's not. Well, no, it can be anything. But, yeah.
Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Renamon.
Yep.
That's Niamh. That's so fucking gross.
I know it was. That was the moment where I could have become a furry, but my path diverged in life.
John, you like Renamon.
Bryan, shut the fuck up.
Look, Renamon was very confusing to a lot of
She's
people.
Cool. Yeah. Well, oh yeah. So there is a thing here about, like Buffy was cool, and Willow was cool sometimes, and then other times I was like, stop it, Willow.
So is it just me?
John, you crushing?
Yeah, I was crushing pretty hard. I think the first time I was ever like attraction was like Pamela Anderson. Well, what the fuck do you expect?
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
I think for me it was Nala from Lion King when she did those eyes.
Those were good now. Yeah. She gave the look.
Then kind of moving on, April O'Neil from Turtles was a big one.
Yeah.
April is great.
James Bond Jr. from James Bond Jr. was.
What?
Yeah,
He's a babe.
I know. I don't understand it. But you know, Renamon from
Renamon.
yeah.
Just own it, John.
I'm too filled with shame, Niamh.
How about video game characters?
Video game characters. I mean, let me think. I mean, like, I don't know when the Chun-Li thing started, but that just never ended and was evergreen forever. I don't like.
Did you crush on wrestlers?
Oh, just take
Lita, China.
Take every wrestler from the Attitude Era. Just fuck them in a blender, and that's what
The
I
Hardy
liked.
Boys.
Yeah, like just all of them. Like they're like, I honestly, the list of Attitude Era wrestlers that I don't have a crush on would be much easier to say than the ones I did.
I really like this email.
Yeah, it's a good email. You know, There was an episode of the episode of The Simpsons where, oh god, this is so fucking weird. Why am I saying this? The episode of The Simpsons where Principal, it's the principal and the pauper.
Yeah.
And right at the end, there's a scene where they ship Principal Skinner's, like, the actual Principal Skinner out of town on a train.
Yeah, the Martin Sheen character.
There's an incidental character on that I became really fixated with.
Okay.
Yep. And later on, I found out that it was a character based on a real-life girl who won a competition.
That's so weird.
So fucking... And that was years after I became, like, fixated on them.
Okay. You loved an incidental character.
And I can never look up this girl, because what if I'm just totally fucking in love with her? It'll ruin everything.
Debbie from the Thornberries.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Whew.
There are some, like, cool girls in Class D Shupo, like, Nick shows. Mm-hmm. Like all the girls in As Told by Ginger. They were cool girls. Except for Dodie. Dodie was annoying.
I don't know. I think...
No?
As Told by Ginger, they were a little fresh for me. I don't even know what I mean by that. More mean like attitude.
I don't know about that now.
Pepper Ann.
Pepper Ann was lame.
Honestly, like, fucking...
I admired her confidence, and that's all you really want.
The, like, cat from Animaniacs.
Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Fuck yeah.
Humans are so weird.
Yeah.
We just see something and we're like, okay, Pokemon. Who's hot in Pokemon?
Well, there's
like,
very few hot Pokemon except, like, Gardevoir.
Yeah. That and, like,
Cop.
Officer Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny and...
Nurse Joy.
Nurse Joy. Should be a couple.
Yeah.
I
I
really
remember there was a scene... Actually, never mind.
I really liked certain episodes. Jesse looked fucking amazing.
So did James.
Yeah, the one where Jesse and James are Garou girls. I love that episode so much.
There you go. There's every
There you
fictional
go.
character we want to bone.
Feel free to cancel all of us now.
Yeah.
Yep. And that is definitely not every fictional character we want to bone.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
I'm
like
trying
a
to I'm
fraction.
trying to keep it like teenage. I think I kind of wanted to bone Robin Hood from the Disney film.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who Simba was their first crush, so you know.
Like at that point, you are a furry. Like,
Yeah, it's
don't
fine.
even like own it. You know, be proud.
Howl at that moon.
Hell at that moon.
Balto.
Who's Balto?
Who's a hot
Balto
dog.
was the Don Bluth sexy fucking husky wolf dog.
Oh, animation's so weird.
Animation's so weird.
Is this when we got into it in college? You're just like, I wanna
Latent
fuck a
desire.
cartoon.
Yeah.
Also, the industry's good. It's always nice stories in the news about it, but you can fuck a cartoon dog.
You can draw yourself fucking anything. Oh God, let's move on. Where are we?
We got one more, I guess.
Okay.
There's the very last one at the end. Is that like a good one, or is that like
Bryan, trust your heart.
too messy? Look,
Yeah, go on.
it's
We'll
about
do
video
this off
games.
the top of our head.
Yeah. This is about video games. This is from Cameron. Hey guys, I want to ask you a quick question. What is the best game on each of the 8th generation consoles out now?
Okay, if I'm arguing for the game I enjoyed most this generation, it's Yakuza 0 for me.
That wasn't the question.
No, it's on each console. So let's divide it into 3 things. The PlayStation 4,
Okay.
the Nintendo Switch, and then I'm going to call it the Microsoft experience is PC and Xbox.
Sure.
Because at this point, they are one and the same.
Okay. I'm gonna say Yakuza 0.
For PlayStation 4.
I'm gonna get a little cheeky with the Microsoft experience and say Cuphead.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, go on, keep going.
And then for the Nintendo Switch, ooh,
That's a tough one.
yeah, let me think about that. It's weird because I haven't super enjoyed a lot of the first party Nintendo games for the Switch.
Yeah, like there isn't like I guess like there isn't that game yet, but I guess like
Not for me anyway.
yeah, what's like a silver medal?
Breath of the Wild is the only thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Like, when I love that game, I fucking love that game. How about you, Niamh?
PS4, I'll probably Nier Automata. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Switch, none of the first party games have really appealed to me.
Are there any weird indie games?
I'm really looking forward for Daemon X Machina and Astral Chain, so maybe it'll be them. But in the meantime, oh god, the cooking game I really like. Why can't I remember the name of it?
Battle Chef Brigade.
Yes, Battle Chef Brigade. There you go.
Niamh's favorite game. She loves it so much.
Love it. There we go.
And on Microsoft.
Microsoft, I didn't play it that much this generation, but I guess Halo 5, maybe?
Yeah. Okay, for me, Microsoft is probably Ori and the Blind Forest.
Sure.
That game's really good, and that is a Microsoft exclusive. Otherwise, it's Cuphead. For PlayStation 4, it's Bloodborne, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Switch, for now, it's Zelda Breath of the Wild, but that is subject to change at any point.
Yeah. Guys, that's going to do it for our 2019 email bonanza. I had fun.
Me too.
Yeah. What say we close this show out with some Patreon shoutouts? Bryan.
Yep.
Niamh. I have this burning belief that the Let's Fight a Boss podcast is not only the world's strongest podcast, but the greatest podcast in the world. But I just wish there was something I could do to express that.
We have a Patreon.
Niamh, is this true?
It is. And for the price of a cheap coffee, I don't know how much coffee is where
For the
everyone
price of a lackluster coffee.
Yeah, you could give that to us instead.
And you could not have that coffee.
Yeah. Imagine you're buying me a coffee like once a month.
But you could have the personal satisfaction that you...
And it is like buying Niamh a coffee. She really fucked us on the contract for this one. And yeah.
That coffee clause. I just don't care about coffee, so I didn't read that bit.
No, me neither. I didn't read any of it. I can barely read, honestly.
Yeah. Did you know John can't read?
It's true, I can't.
You can teach him how for €3 a month. Yeah, we have a Patreon.
Yeah. We've got a Patreon. There's a Discord. All the cool guys are on it.
And all I'm going to say is that we are in striking distance of our next stretch goal, which will be a full Let's Play. And we've been having a lot of conversations about what game it should be. And I'm excited.
Let's just say that if you like football, it's not going to be one of those games.
Like, I don't want to give away what game it is, but it is the sequel to FIFA 2018.
Anyway, we have this tab called shoutouts, and you can type whatever you want and we have to say it.
Patreon.com/LFAB.
Okay, John, do you want to do this first one? Or no, Niamh should do the first one.
It's from Jack Hates. I can't believe I tricked John into watching all the Resident Evil movies. Sorry, but not sorry, bud. I feel like that was a dual effort from me and you, Jack. But yes, good job.
John, you want to read the next one?
I sure do. And that's something that I'm going to get to right about now. John is my name. John is my name. Googling Ormika on Tumblr is my game. Hey!
Who's that from?
Lemmy.
Not Lemmy.
That's not... I mean... Like, I do that, but... feels like a breach of privacy.
Yeah, I can't believe they figured that out about you.
I know, it's like, how?
Then this one is from David. I'm not going to give you a surname. I don't know why. I just don't want to do it. Please donate to Let's Fight a Boss. Brian needs money for Kirby plushies.
He really does. He only has like 7.
I need an 8th Kirby plush, apparently.
Guys, what's how we move things into our loot drop? So let's kick things off here. Niamh, what do you got? What do you got, buddy? What loot drop do you have for the people that we do every fucking episode for 104 episodes that you didn't know was coming and somehow haven't written your loot drop down? What do you got, Niamh? What do you fucking got?
Gun to your head, what is it?
Oh my god, the YouTube front page is terrible.
She's winging it, everyone. She's fucking scraping
Jesus,
the...
swinging. And you know what? Normally, we just cut to me and Bryan for this bit, but what say we all just sit back and just let Niamh find something in
It's
real
a
time?
BBC video called World's Smallest Cat. I love this video. I watch it every day. I hope it's not a racist cat.
So Niamh's got her big fucking problem of a video. The world's most racist cat.
Oh, what a disaster.
Your turn.
I'm going to link the webcomic Shag and Scoob. Bryan, what do you got?
I got recommended this video called Bolson, Nintendo's most controversial character. Did you see this video?
No.
It's this guy on YouTube called Mikasicus. Like, I'd say 75% of his videos on his channel are just troll videos. But then once in a while he does like an honest video about just something. So like, but like I really like the aesthetic of his videos because like he's figuring stuff out, but he does stuff where he will use the pixel effect or the mosaic effect, and that's how he kind of like gets away with like showing footage of a game by just mosaicing the shit out of it.
That's smart.
Yeah, I just really like his aesthetic.
Who's this character?
Bolson is the contractor in the main village in Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it's just a video about this character.
Interesting.
And just how the fan community have deciphered who and what he is. It's fun.
Cool. That's going to do it for this very special episode of the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast. How you guys feeling?
I'm so sweaty.
I'm
Yes, so sweaty.
So sweaty and so tired.
This is like the hottest day in Ireland so far this year.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had the windows open all episode. Sorry if you heard a car outside.
Yep. Just we get so warm when we podcast, and it's nice in the winter, but it sucks in the summer.
Yeah. It's probably all that screaming.
It's probably all the screaming. There was a lot of screaming this episode.
Who cried?
I cried. You made me cry.
I'm really sorry. I'm crying again because that fucking world's smallest cat bit. Jesus Christ. Okay, goodbye everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.